Hello and welcome to Tonight with R2. I'm your host, Arthur the Icky, and this is a later than normal episode. So if you've been waiting a little bit, sorry about that. But my guest tonight, we just working with his schedule, and I'm happy to have him on. It's the first time he's been on this channel, so I'm excited for this. But without further ado, let me bring him out. Roman of the Empire. How you doing, sir?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to tonight, man.
Me too. Me too. I'm so glad to have you on here. Like I said, I feel bad. It's the first time having you on. We weren't able to have you on when we were doing movie reviews, but I'm glad to have you on to talk about movies tonight. And like you said, it's going to be a lot of fun. Well, before we get into things, let's. I'll let you tell everybody who you are. What do you do? And I know you got a YouTube channel too, so
oddly enough, yeah. I do. you can find myself and my go ahead.
I say I do have all your links in the description too, by the way. Okay. So if somebody's looking for you, they can find you there.
Yes, we are over at Roman of the Empire, myself, my rather extensive panel, and we're on every Thursday at 5 Pacific Standard. We try not to deviate from that. Every now and then you get a special holiday show from us, but every Thursday at 5 Pacific Standard we're on. And we talk kind of snarky takes, even if it's something we love, you still get the humorous take on it, of movies, television shows. We do a lot of things that are favorites. And everybody will get their take on, movies from the 70s or, your favorite metal album. We kind of mix it up in there a little bit. Comic books, action figure stuff, kind of a gambit. The big things we do on a week to week though are the deep dives into movies or series, and our free range show that when we want to catch up on the news of the day, and then we just put together a list of topics and we chat through that for a couple hours and get our feelings and opinions on the matters. And golly, do they have opinions, my friend?
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I don't always get to catch it, but I do enjoy it when I am able to hang out and watch. And a lot of people that you have regularly on your panel are good friends of mine, and that's whether current or former folks that have been on. And I made the joke the other day. I like to think of myself as your invisible panelist because
yes.
If you're not familiar, I usually when you post something, I add some contribution, usually where I'm photoshopping your head
onto someone,
and I guess too we'll have to mention. It kind of started with JT. I actually forget how it started, but I always need to try and fit in Olive Garden breadsticks in with photos of you. How did the Olive Garden joke come about?
It started, he and I we were in Vegas. This is what year is it? It's 2026.
26.
So 25, 24, 23. In 2023, in our good friend Joker Voice in the bar he worked at, this is post Nerdrotic meetup. So it's well into the evening hours, early morning hours. And so we all decided to go over there, JT as well. And I may have had a little bit to drink. And I honestly don't remember quite how the topic of Olive Garden came up, but we ended up on it. And we're probably talking about food and how I then expanded into Olive Garden, expletive, Italian fast food, expletive. And for I was monologuing about how much I hate Olive Garden. And so Olive Garden, if you're watching, no, you don't need to sponsor. And JT, of course, being JT, took that little kernel from that night and speared me with it from week to week to just get my goat, as it were, regarding the Olive Garden and the breadsticks. And if you're here,
And I carry that torch on today.
and yes.
And even sometimes, I'm shocked is not here right now. Our good friend Jacob Ironside occasionally joins in on that as well.
He does.
He does.
He does, and then I have to fire him and then rehire him immediately.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. Well, very good. But yeah, definitely check out his channel on Thursday night. It's a ton of fun, and I was gonna say that my other trouble too is every Thursday night I have family come over, so I know you.
Friendly, in case anyone's curious.
Yeah. There's a few times I've thrown on the TV and I'm like, oh, I gotta change it. But yeah, no, it's fun. And then you and Left Eye Ego do a toy panel every now and then. And I forget, is it on your channel or you guys do that over on Ego's channel?
It's on his channel. He actually makes it available so I could share it, but I don't, because Roman is also lazy and a technophobe, so I always worry I'm going to screw something up. But yeah, he hosts the show, and it's usually myself, Ego, of course, because it's his channel, Joker, Jacob Ironside. Sometimes we get angry Canadian on. There's a bug in my garage.
No problem.
So, and we just have a fun discussion. Whatever we've collected over the last couple of months, like after Christmas is always a really good one because we've stocked up quite a bit. And then, well, we don't do a ton of them. We do maybe 4 a year, but it gives enough time for spacing out so that we get new stuff and we all have a few things to show off for the show.
Sure. I mean, what you have behind you, I mean, granted, I know, I hope I'm not spoiling anything. It's a green screen, but still, it's a picture of your collection. I mean,
yes, it exists. It exists looking just like this.
I mean, it's awesome. I mean, that. Now I have to ask: is that everything, or is that just what you like to have on display? And there's more.
That is not everything. That's everything. The problem is space.
Sure.
Not as the concept of an outer, but I don't have any. The inn is full. It is packed back here. I'd have to. So if I get something new, super interesting in, someone ends up going into the box, and it's usually pretty easy to decide what's going to go off the shelf, so something new can go on the shelf. And like I said, it's unfortunate because these things aren't cheap. So one of those things in the box are things that I loved very much at a time, but then I just ran out of room. And my children will have to sift through this when I'm dead.
Now I got to ask. So I mean, right, everything you've got behind you, it's out of the box. Now, when you buy stuff now, are you a purist where you're like, I leave it in the box and that's how it is, or are you somebody where you like to take it out?
So what I do with the boxes now, I used to save them, but then that became its own problem. When you have a few hundred action figures, you have a few hundred boxes, and it was just not going to work. So some of them have really nice panels on the back. And all the McFarlane toys come with good cards and stuff anyway. But the back of the box was basically just like a big collectible card. So I cut the backs of the boxes off. And one day I want to assemble them all into like some kind of giant collage. It's going to look really cool someday. My somedays I'll probably be dead, and that's also going to have something my kids are going to sort through. But I do save that part of the box in a bag in the desk. I just don't have room. That's the biggest reason. I just don't have room.
Sure. I've always wondered that. I mean, right, you look at like Nerdrotic's collection, it's like, does he have any of those boxes from those collectibles? So
I
I mean,
don't know. Like for some of his bigger stuff, he might, but like the stuff that he
yeah,
had from the comic book store days that
yeah,
are just on the blue board, I probably not.
yeah. I have to imagine those are all loose figures.
Actually,
But
I gave him a let's see, it's a Green Lantern, Batman as Green Lantern from the Dark Knight's Metal collection. I
okay,
ended up with an extra, and he had a meetup down here, and I was like, "Hey, I bet maybe you don't have one of these," and he
yeah,
did. So it was nice. It was, we
nah,
hugged.
that's cool. That's hey, no, that's awesome. And who knows? I mean, right? That's probably something where it's like maybe he's got it, maybe he doesn't. So it's cool to know, like, hey, one of my figures is in his room somewhere.
Somewhere.
Somewhere. Well, I did ask you to grab a couple
Yeah,
things
you did.
to
You
show
did.
off. I was gonna say before we do that, we'll say hello real quickly to a few people that are here. Uh, there's JT. He's very impatient. Hopefully, he's still watching. Maybe he left in frustration. And then lovely Sherry is here. Hello, thanks for swinging by. Nice to see you here. And then Tom, Rogue Attraction is here. How you doing? Howdy. And normally my wife is here, but she's talking to her sister who she hasn't talked to in a while. And plus, it's late, so she's probably sleeping. And then who's this? We have Catastrophe and New Zealand. I'm
Oh,
assuming.
nice.
Nice to see you. Thanks for being here. But yeah, appreciate everyone here. So yeah, I'll let you go first and show a few things off that you've recently got. And
Yeah, I got a couple things here, and this is all unopened stuff. Um, I'll show the newest thing first. I'm hoping it doesn't make itself disappear against the screen because it may. This is from McFarlane's. It's the collector's edition. What that means is that they charge you another $10 for it.
sure.
It doesn't really come with anything extra, but so this is the Zatanna and Detective Chimp.
Okay, cool.
This rounds out my my Justice League Dark nicely. And quite honestly, I already have a Zatanna that I like a lot, although this one is better. But if I could have just bought the Chimp, I would have. But it is what it is. I bought this mainly for the Chimp. But remember, I was talking about the artwork on the back.
Oh
So
wow.
what I do is like I said, I will carve that off. My son is calling me right now. He knows I do a show. Oh, no. It's not Thursday. He doesn't know I'm on. He's usually pretty good about it. Hopefully he's not in jail. So anyway, I'll carve this off the back of the box and add it to my collection of things that the kids will have to go through when they're dead. But I was really excited when I saw this coming up because they had not. I mean, McFarlane has put out like 9 gazillion Batmans, Supermans, a lot of repeat figures. He had never done a Zatanna though, so it was new, and it's obviously Detective Chimp, one of the lesser known characters in the DC universe. Anyway, so I came available. I missed it, and I was like, no, and because Inigo and I are usually really on top of these things. We go back and forth. Like, hey, did you get the thing? Did you see it's coming to you? Set the date in your calendar, 9:00. You got to get in there to pre-order. If you don't pre-order, it's more expensive. But then GameStop threw these up again, and I got lucky, and I got it. So because if you miss them on the initial pre-order stuff, you're buying them on eBay, and you're paying at least double. So your $40 action figure, which is what the collector editions are, becomes an $80 action figure.
Yeah.
And you gotta really love it and have a forgiving wife, or or a wife who's really busy so she didn't notice.
Yeah, scalpers have ruined things. That is for sure.
Really have.
Yeah.
Sorry, bending to put things on the floor.
They are I would call them rats of the collectible world.
Well, they are, because they'll go in and they'll buy up everything. Well, the thing about these figures is because they McFarlane posts when they're going to go up for pre-order and where they're going to be available. You quite often, I mean, you got to be like cycling through. It's like when you're trying to get Comic-Con tickets, you're cycling through 10 minutes before, because sometimes they'll go live early and you get in there at 9:00 and they're gone already. They're just like literally.
Yeah.
So here, I got a couple more. I got this at my local thrift shop. It is the collector series from Playmates, James Kirk. This is a lot like the Mego figures from the
Yeah.
70s, but the detail on this is actually so much better. Um, I was hoping she'd have a Spock, but she had like 150 Kirks. I got this for $7.
That's
Seven
not bad.
dollars. So I was like, I can't not buy it. It's actually I'm morally obligated to get something like this if it's $7. So it's just there was no way. They had a Picard as well, but I'm more of a Kirk guy. So it is what it is. He comes with a tricorder, a phaser, a communicator, all these things. I may or may not open this one. I just haven't decided yet. It's $7. It's not gonna, be the end of the
Sure.
world as far as the value goes, but I don't really have a place to put him. And this is the last but not least here. And like I said, I got a gaggle of these things, and it was pretty exciting. All from different sources, but they're all from the same series. So this is the Green Orion Animal Woman from the Cage episode,
Okay.
and I've
Is
been wanting
is
one of
that the one
these.
where Kirk and Spock fight?
No, 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 no.
Okay.
That's Ponfar. So
Okay.
the Cage is the pilot episode of the show with Christopher Pike. That's the one
Okay.
that cut into the menagerie as a two-parter with Kirk and Spock, and Pike's in the wheelchair with the beep beep. But in the original episode, The Cage, which ended up not being what they used, uh, the Green Orion, it was Vina is the survivor of the crash. The Telosians, the fellows with the big head, they're only like 3 foot. They got massive noggins. Make you see whatever they want you to see, and they transformed the poor crash survivor girl, who's all put back together very poorly, into this, so that trying to
Okay.
get Pike a little randy. So, but it's so I got a few of these. I'm probably going to keep these in their packages and hang them somewhere in the back there in the
Very
vast
cool.
the
I
vast museum of the Empire.
I was gonna say, do you have like any like what you'd call like a like graded figures or mint figures where you do have something that's like real special that like it will not be opened?
I have one. I
You have
have
one?
one that I've never taken out of the box because it's um quite honestly, the ones I have back here, if I had left them in box, many of these are worth hundreds of dollars,
Sure.
for a figure. But I don't collect. I don't collect for that. I don't collect for my kids, to make them, a
Yeah.
commodity. I collect because I love these characters.
Sure.
Um, but I have one, and I don't even really know why I never did. It's Daredevil. It's red suit Daredevil with the white batons. Um, it's never been opened. It's sealed as the day I got it. Last look, it was 80 to 100 on
Okay.
eBay. I have a yellow the yellow and brown suit Daredevil that I have. Where are they? I have the Defenders in there somewhere. Where are you? Where are you, Defenders? They're behind me. This is like literally there, but anyway. So
Sure.
I've got that version of Daredevil in with Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and
Okay.
the Punisher. That
Very
from the
cool.
Netflix series. So anyway.
I do think about all my action figures. I had my brothers hand me down Secret Wars action figures when they did those with the holographic shields, and I even had the Doctor Doom castle. He gave that to me.
Oh wow.
I wish I still had all that. I had
That's
tons
cool,
of
man.
loose figure Star Wars that at the time they probably weren't worth anything, but now I'm like, oh my god, I probably could have got $20 a piece for them. There was like, I'm not kidding, like 18 loose Boba Fett's in this big giant bin.
Oh my goodness.
Um, and then like I think of all like the Toy Biz Marvel figures. I had those when they did like the Avengers, Fantastic Four, and then they did X-Men, and it's like same thing. It's like I wish I had kept that stuff now, but I do have a couple things to share. I don't collect a whole lot of figures, but recently I've gotten into it's a company called Blockies, and they do these Transformer figures where you got to put them together. It's like a little model kit,
Oh, fun.
and they're blind boxes. So there's 6 in a set, and then there's one chase figure. And so here it's put together, but here I'll tap it and turn on the light if you can see. But
Oh, that is cool, man.
he's
I like
all
it.
he's all posable and everything. It's you can get these at Walmart. Also, too, it's a vintage stock is where I get a lot of these. They carry a lot. The ones that I've really gotten into though, they do these small ones. And there was a Comic-Con out here recently. I bought 2 boxes of them. They were like $40. You get 12, and you get a basic set, and you might get some Chase figures, but same thing. Here's a little Optimus Prime. But like I said, you get to put them together, which is neat. And I actually bought a case to put all these in because I'm like, I'll set them up at some point, but for the time being, I have somewhere to keep them. But they remind me of, I don't know if you remember these back in the 80s. And they were actually they were from a Japanese Transformers series, but they were called Battle Beast. I don't know if you remember.
I do.
They were little tiny, and they had like had the little hologram on them, and there was like an element. They remind me of those. I loved Battle Beast as a kid. I always wish they would come back because I'm like, I would have so much fun buying those. But very cool. Yeah, every time you guys do those, I'm like, every now and then I'm like, I want to show something off that
I've got my like only Japanese figure is my Ultraman.
Okay.
Here, which
that's still cool.
I had it was like the rubber ones, which were the main ones you can get. It is the straight rubber. They have actually zero articulation. And then oddly enough, Target came out with this line. There's only 2 figures in it, and they're like 5 inches or so, but they have very decent articulation. So he's hanging up there with Space Ghost.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, that was a lot of fun. I know that's not usually what we do here, but like I said, I've always watched you do it. I always wanted to partake. So I appreciate that little mini segment of showing that off. But we will get into the show now, and we'll kick it off with our first segment. Where's the button? And that is 10 rapid questions. So if you're, I know, I mean, I explained to you how this goes. If you're new to the show, it's just 10 questions I come up with. It's for the guests. They just answer as best as possible. There's no right or wrong. Some of these questions are easy. Some might make you squirm a little bit. Some might frustrate you. Some might make you laugh. But it's all in fun. So nobody's going to hold anything against you, depending on what you answer. Without further ado, we'll get into the first one, and that is your favorite color.
Black.
Oh, interesting. Favorite food?
Tacos.
What kind of tacos, though? Like street tacos?
So I've got a Mexican joint by us called Los Amigos. And not everybody gets their crunchy tacos, right? I mean, and this is the genuine fried tortilla crunchy taco with the shredded beef. They are a delight. I could eat 10,000 of them. But my wife would leave me because of what happens afterwards.
Okay, fair enough. You're the first person to pick tacos too, by the way. I'm impressed. But I think that's a true sign you're from California.
I'm in SoCal, man.
I mean, California. Well, even I lived in NorCal for 24 years. And Northern California has phenomenal Mexican food, and I dearly miss that.
I could eat it like every day of the week.
Oh yeah.
And it's funny, Mexican food, much like Italian food, my heritage food, it's all basically the same thing in different configurations.
Yeah.
But a pizza is a large ravioli opened up. Spaghetti, whatever version of pasta you're making. Sometimes you have chicken, sometimes you don't. Mexican food's the same way. It's just burrito, taco, nacho, all the same, different configuration.
I don't know if you've ever heard Jim Gaffigan did a bit on Mexican food. He talked about working at a Mexican restaurant, and they're like, what is tostada? Meat, vegetable, tortilla.
Yeah.
What is, nachos? Meat, vegetable, tortilla. Exactly. It's like, it's all the same stuff. All right. Next one. Favorite drink?
Beer.
I'm not surprised by that. You always.
I also like whiskey. I don't like rum, but beer is nice. Beer is a flexible beverage as well, because it's not just beer. Yeah. There's all kinds. There's many categories, subcategories. And quite honestly, it's not always the same. Sometimes you get into an IPA mood. Sometimes you would like a lager, a pilsner, you know, a Bock. There's all there's a
I
delightful potpourri of beers.
I'll be honest, I am not a fan of IPAs, but I do
They're
if
not
you
for everyone.
I was gonna say, but boy do I love Guinness when it's on tap.
Oh, I love Guinness. Actually, I've become a real master of the black and tan
Yeah.
on St. Patrick's Day. Also,
Uh
not for everyone, but I like to make them.
Matt Cat, what is it?
Whoa,
Electric Food is
whoa,
the worst.
whoa, whoa,
We're gonna have to kick
whoa!
Gucci from the chat there for that one.
I don't know what to do with that.
I know. What is going on there? Thanks for coming by, Matt Cat. Appreciate it. All right. Next one is first thing you'd buy if you had $1 million. Now, this is a like treat yourself question. You have $1 million. What would you spend? You could spend all $1 million if you want, but I'm just saying, if you had $1 million, what would you do for yourself?
A house in Florida that my entire family could live in.
Okay, fair enough.
As a man trapped in the occupied land of California, where $1 million is pretty much what I live in now.
Yeah.
So it's $1 million somewhere else would go a long way, and that'd be nice. That'd be a nice thing to have.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you
Or
mean.
that Hulk action figure that I've had my eye on.
Yeah. All right, now here's where things start. We'll start to get a little bit interesting with the questions. So, New Zealand or Italy?
Italy.
I asked this last time, but I wanted your opinion. Marvel Comics, New York City, or DC Comics, Metropolis?
DC Comics Metropolis.
Steve Irwin or Bear Grylls? Since you like to go for hikes.
I probably Bear. He has a lot more survivor tips than Steve did. Sorry, Steve. No, it didn't end well.
I'm shocked you picked the guy who's holding poop in his hand.
Yeah. We have not done that. Although we do have lots of poop on the trails. Whoever's in front yells "scat" so that we know not to step in it. And depending on what the coyotes have eaten that day, you have little brown piles, little berry piles, or sometimes just liquid piles of like, it's like, what were you eating, bro?
You know what I was going to say here was, Steve Irwin, he's chasing after animals. You might end up with shit on you, but with Bear Grylls, you might end up eating shit.
It's true.
All right. I can't wait for your answer for the next one. Jane Fonda or Cynthia Erivo?
Oh boy, that is a tough one. I'm gonna go with Jane. I hate Jane. I'd like that noted immediately. But I don't think Jane is possessed by a demon. And that's the big difference. I don't like either. I have no fondness for Jane.
He'll take the communist over Nosferatu.
Over the Hellspawn.
Over Nosferatu.
Yes. May the power of Christ compel you. No one wants to have to deal with that. So shut up, Jane. That's all I'd have to do.
Yeah. Olive Garden breadsticks forever or the One Ring?
One Ring. Definitely One Ring. It's all over. It's all over. My precious.
You can have
I'm big-eyed, no hair. That'll be.
But or a ring that will corrupt you.
I'm fine with the corruption. I'm fine with the corruption over the Olive
Garden. Okay. And then last, this one is there's three choices, and how it's done is it's based off of marry, bang, kill.
Or kill. Okay.
And but instead it's usually I pick actors, musicians, things like that, where it's keep their career, change their career for the better, or delete it altogether. But this one is based on companies. So
interesting. Ooh, okay.
Since you're a toy fan.
Oh my goodness gracious! Keep McFarlane as is, because they are top tier. Mattel should delete their career. Mattel is awful. Just straight up terrible. They got the DC contract now. So
Yeah,
instead of the glorious 7-inch figures that the McFarlane folks have been giving us for a number of years, you're going to get 6.5-inch figures now, and you're going to be disappointed in them because that's what Mattel gives you. Um, Hasbro,
you would change them for the better then.
well, actually, I'd like to change Mattel for the better, but I'd rather just delete them entirely. And Hasbro, I guess, would be make better. Hasbro does do a decent job with their products. Um, McFarlane doesn't have room for improvement. I mean, they can make their stuff cheaper. That would be awesome,
Yeah,
but that's not going to happen. Mattel, I don't like Mattel as a brand. I don't like their product. Hasbro, like I said, Hasbro Plus specifically, they're the ones that have been putting out the Marvel, much of the Marvel line. You have
yeah,
the Marvel Legends stuff, and then you have other, which you get from Hasbro Plus, and they make a lot of other stuff too.
oh yeah,
So it's hard to talk bad about them, but like I said, McFarlane is top tier. Mattel is not.
yeah.
And then there's Hasbro,
Well,
which is kind of the happy medium.
yeah. Saying Hasbro kind of does a few neat things, right? Like they do some like the crowdfunding stuff where they'll be like, "Hey, it's not something we would make mass produce, but if you want to invest in it, if we get enough investors, we'll make it." And one of the things that they did that I wish I could have gotten was when they did the Proton Pack, the Ghostbusters like fully functioning Proton Pack.
Oh,
That is something that I would love to have. I think some of those kits are cool too, where they put like they actually put like a vape system in them to make like it disperse the
see,
steam.
that's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some really really cool ones. I'm like, I'd kill to have that. So no, I believe me, I get you. I mean, yeah, the McFarlane toys for kind of being in the because right, I almost picked through NECA on here, but NECA's a little bit more higher end.
Well, NECA's not bad. I mean, I have several of
Yeah,
those. The problem is you go from that tier, which is still something
yeah,
just about every collector can get.
oh
Any
yeah,
collector can buy anything from any of these companies pretty easy. Hasbro and McFarlane are about the same.
yeah,
McFarlane tends to go a little bit more depending on, is it a platinum series, which means they just put platinum series on the box and you have to pay more. But as soon as you jump out of, you got even NECA, like I've got their see, I knew my brain would stop working as soon as I started talking. From Jaws, the Quinn
yeah,
action figure, and Matt Hooper, the biologist, the marine biologist. They
yeah,
made those figures over the holiday season, and I picked those up. They were $35 each. Not terrible.
yeah.
But then you go to like Matfix and Hot Toys, and then you're looking at like, you really got to explain that to your significant other, because they cost a lot of money.
Oh yeah,
You're making a significant jump in cost. So they're really good figures. But and if you have the money and you're a collector, yeah, that's great, do it. But for regular ordinary folk, you're in the McFarlane tier.
sure. Yeah, well, that's why, like I said, I kind of kept it. I know McFarlane stuff can be more money than Hasbro Mattel, but the NECA stuff seems just a little step above in cost. Because even like you said, 35, but some of it I've seen at like $50 for figures, things like that. So
Yeah,
didn't want to
I've
go.
got their Alien and Predator back there, and
Oh, very
they're
cool.
very they're cool figures. I have two Predators actually. I have Predator and Predator 2, and then classic Alien.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, cool. That was a lot of fun. I did my best to gear things towards you. I mean, other than just the Cynthia Erivo and Jane Fonda was just to make you just was really to irritate you. But we will go. Oh, Matt Cat says I love NECA, and he says Mattel sucks.
Yes.
Well,
All of these things are true.
yeah. Well, we'll get into the main part of the show now, and that is onto your favorite movies. And you picked some good ones here, so I can't wait to talk about these. I just did them in the order that you sent, so hopefully I have them in the same order for your notes. But we'll go with your first one, and Blade Runner.
Blade Runner, and I want to also say I like the theatrical cut the best, and I know not everybody does, but I like Decker's narration
Mm-hmm.
over the film. I like it because it gives you certain insights and things. It's not a useless narration. When the narration is absent, I think you lose a lot. His thoughts on this is again where my brain stops working very well. Holy cats! See, this when you get older, kids. This is the kind of awful stuff that happens to you. The Roy Batty character, Roy Batty. Good God!
Okay.
At the end, when he's going over his thoughts on Roy Batty and why he let him go. I guess he just cared about life. Anybody's life, my life, all of that. We're getting the narration about his boss, what kind of man his boss is. All of these little little things that I think add nice texture to the movie. The overall concept of the movie, the opening scene with Leon is just such a brilliant, and it's brilliant on like several different levels. One, the simplicity of the questioner and questionee, and the why of it, the response.
Yeah.
The lighting, just the way that the framing of the scene is done, and it's in that it's that green. Everything is green, and it looks so good, and you don't expect once you've seen it your 9,000th time when mother. I'll tell you about my mother. Kaboom! And he shoots the detective. The relationship between Batty and Priss. Sebastian, the simple man that is Sebastian, who is actually not so simple. But he's 26 years old, but he looks like he's 40 because he has a degenerative aging disease, which is what the replicants kind of draw him in with. You're just like us, not enough life, and that he's a lonely person, and that's where Priss comes in, using her particular skill set. There's not a bad part of
Mm-hmm.
Blade Runner. Even a small character, Edward James Olmos. Forgive me with my name's Gaff.
Yeah, Gaff, that's right.
You don't get a lot of him in the movie, but you understand that character completely, partially because of Decker's narration, and partially because of the actions that Gaff does. Like you said, you only see him a handful of times in the movie, as he has just minimal dialogue. But what you get from him, you understand this character, and he let them go. It's just all the questions the movie has about life. What is life? How well do you know yourself? What do you know about you? You might not be who you think you are. It's so well done. It's very far from the source material, which Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. Deckard is a much he's a much stronger character here. He's not still married, and he's not out of shape. All of these things that you get in Philip K. Dick is brilliant with his short stories, because they give you a foundation that can expand into these brilliant movies like Blade Runner,
Total Recall.
Total Recall. Thank
right,
you. Pulling it out of my brain. The Man of the High Castle.
Yeah, but
which
Total
is
Recall is like
such a short story.
You can buy it wholesale or something like that too. Like everything's always got like kind of like an interesting title.
Yeah, Philip K. Dick was an interesting cat. A little weird, a lot weird, but his ideas were very far ahead of their time, which is why these movies, his material lends itself so well to these futures that have a foot in realism. You can see yourself in the world of Blade Runner, of Total Recall. Not so much The Man in the High Castle, because that's when the Nazis won the war. But it's an interesting alternate universe story. So it's brilliant. But it's also the series, which I love very much, except for season 4, which is not good. It's based on something this thick, and they pull all these ideas out of it.
Yeah.
So, and the soundtrack, which I own on vinyl. The soundtrack.
Oh wow! Very cool.
for
I
Blade Runner.
I was gonna say this is too like this is not your typical sci-fi film. Like this is really something that you have to. Not even you got to watch it once. I mean, you really got to pay attention, but you got to watch it a couple of times too because it's there's just so many layers to it.
And it
Like,
wasn't well received when it came
yeah,
out.
no, it wasn't.
People are used to Harrison Ford, Han Solo Harrison Ford. That's what he was
It,
best known for at this point.
well, and I remember the 10th anniversary of it. They had it came out on when it came out on VHS, and it was there was a lot of people who are like, I don't remember Harrison Ford doing this movie. Like, yeah, a lot of it wasn't until I feel like around the 10th when that came out, a lot of people seemed like to get into it. I remember seeing it more at a lot of places, but like prior to that, I mean, I was 9 years old, but I had never heard of this film myself. And
Oh, I remember when it came out.
yeah,
And I didn't see it in theaters because I was a little kid at the time. I was
yeah,
12, 11 or 12, I guess, depending on what time of year it came out. And I saw it on HBO, and when I'm young Roman of the Empire didn't understand this movie.
yeah.
It's not geared
Well,
towards that audience.
yeah. I mean, I was 9 years old when I saw it on VHS the first time, and it was like it was over my head. But like compared to right, like I mean, it's a different type of science fiction movie, but like Alien, I love Alien, but like Alien is not
Yes.
as deep as this film. Like this is, it is. It's there's a
No,
lot going on
but
with
I
this.
would say Alien and Blade Runner have a lot in common in that their worlds are
Yeah,
very relatable and very realistic. You can
sure.
put yourself in that environment and it's not so far removed. Like being on the bridge of Enterprise or being on
Hmm.
the Death Star, that's far removed. This is sci-fi realism and it's very, very effective stuff.
Well, and they portrayed the future as being gritty and dirty, not
It
clean,
ain't,
not
it is
sterile.
it is bleak as F.
Yeah.
And it's funny, the Los Angeles depicted in Blade Runner. If you've ever been to Hong Kong,
Hmm.
that's what Hong Kong reminded me of was
Okay.
Blade Runner. When I was there, I was like, my God, it's just like Blade Runner, minus the
Uh,
replicas, of course, at the time.
yeah, we've got a few comments here. Matt Cat says, yeah, Sean Young was in Blade Runner, but she really wanted to play Catwoman in Batman Returns. Do you think she would have been a good Catwoman? She was also the original
What?
Vicky Vale too, but she got hurt.
Oh, I think she would have been okay. Pardon me. This is my favorite Sean Young role. She was in Dune as well. I liked her
Mhm.
far better in this. Um, she's also, I think, a bit of a wild card as far as an actress goes. Um, I'm also this is going to sound horrible, and please, audience, don't hate me. I'm not a big fan of that era of Batman in cinema. I understand the importance of it because we didn't have anything like that before, but I
Yeah.
don't really like any of those movies. And I know everybody is like, no, what are you? I'm like, it's like kryptonite, but I just don't. There's a
No,
lot of
no.
things I like about them, but as a complete work, I don't prefer them.
Um, no, that's understandable. Um, no, I get that. So yeah, no problem there. Samuel, the infamous here, evening fellas. Nice to see you. He was
Oh,
my last guest, and we had a great time. And yes, R.I.P. Rutger Hauer, one of the greatest character actors
yeah.
of our time.
He
Yeah, he
was
was.
I mean, he wasn't just good in this. He was one of those guys. He had a lot of movies that weren't great either. He had a phase, but then then he ends up in the Nolan Batman movies.
Yeah,
Not a huge part, but he ends up there. Uh, but this is, I think, top tier Rutger Hauer. He plays Roy Batty, and he's a cold, calculating character, very driven, but he has these emotions with when Pris gets killed. He has a breakdown. When he goes to visit Tyrell, his rage with Tyrell for his limited lifespan, all of these things. And he's so Batty is he's not a one-dimensional character by any stretch. There's a lot of layers there. I mean, his function is a killer. That is his job. He is a soldier model. He is combat. But he's just his portrayal of the character was just so well done. And that end scene with him dying on the roof with the dove that's just a hardcore scene.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to take in from that death scene of him shutting down and then the dove flying. It's just a lot of the dove flying is a little bit on the nose, but it's still it's not just, it doesn't just hold up well. It's brilliant cinema.
Yeah. Yep. And then his ears must have been burning. There's Jacob. Good evening, gents. And he says, love this movie. Yeah, no, good choice. Now, before we go on to the other ones, I have to ask you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
When you were picking your movie picks, was there a theme to it?
No. And there are other movies that could have popped in here.
Okay.
But these are my Blade Runner and The Thing. I flip back and forth between them, which is my favorite movie. It kind of depends on when you ask me, but it is always Blade Runner or The Thing.
Well, spoilers for the next one there. Well, because I noticed a theme with your picks, and so I kind of wondered, because some folks...
What are you looking, 1982?
Yes. All of your films were from 1982, and I kind of wondered if that was a theme at all here, because, when I ask people, for their picks or their favorites, for some folks, it's just very tough. So I do try to go just give me some that are current favorites or something like that. So I wondered if you went what are my favorite movies from 1982?
No, these are all-time favorites.
Okay.
If you could ask me, what decade or what year a favorite movie came out, I could go along that line. But as far as just all my top favorite movies, these are my top favorite movies.
No, that totally fine.
1982 is a coincidence. I
guess so. Year. I was real curious. I'm I'm going to wait for the show to ask him this, but this is though. It's one of those things. If you love science fiction, if you're a fan of Ridley Scott, Harrison Ford, you got to see this at least once. And
you see it probably, I would say twice.
You got to see it twice,
so you can watch it the second time so you can absorb it.
But you got to at least see this once, and it is one of those where it's not a casual watch. There is going to be a lot going on, a lot to take in, and
what a visual feast it is.
It is.
They don't make them like this anymore, as they say. Blade Runner 2049 doesn't hold a candle to Blade Runner.
Yeah,
it doesn't. The look, the feel, the vibe of the movie, none of it are there. They gave it a go, and Harrison Ford looked like he was really, really bored and tired.
When doesn't he these days though? Yeah.
Where's the taco truck?
No, great choice. Well, you did kind of, I guess, spoil your next pick here, but we'll get into it. And no, it's all good. It's all good. But this is another one. I love this film. It's great. The theatrical poster doesn't really kind of show off a whole lot. I try to find, thumbnails that, if you haven't seen it, at least kind of show off some characters and kind of give you an idea a little bit about the film. But John Carpenter's The Thing. My God, what a phenomenal movie.
Not well received.
No.
Well, this was up against that stupid gray blob E.T. I don't like E.T. either. And I know people are like, how do you not like E.T.? I hate E.T. I don't like him. I don't like him. I wish he had died when they had him turn all white. But The Thing, on the other hand, so this is interesting about The Thing. There are a couple adaptations. This is the best, easily. There's the prequel that came out in 2011. That just shouldn't exist. It's an all right movie. It doesn't add anything. It's the backstory of the Norwegian camp where the
Yeah.
dog comes from at the beginning of this movie. So, but then there's I say the original. The Thing is not a remake. People want to say, well, it's a remake. It's not a remake. The Thing from Another World is a very poor adaptation of the novella by John Campbell, Who Goes There. Um,
Hey, love it. Thanks for
love
stopping
it.
by.
Whereas The Thing, also, still adaptation of Who Goes There by John Campbell, is an extraordinary adaptation. It's not word for word, but it is very close to it. Some characters are combined, some jobs change a little bit, but the idea is very much the same. Now, in 1951, they didn't have the shape shifting technology, so that one comes across as Frankenstein on ice. That's what The Thing from Another World is.
Yeah.
It's not a bad movie. It's a
No.
terrible adaptation. It's actually a
Yeah.
very fun movie to watch. But if you're trying to watch it, as a direct correspondence to the novella, then you're going to be like, man, there's nothing the same in this. One one of the things that is so good about this movie, Antarctica 1982, they find something in the ice. Now, what this does, it brings in the Norwegian camp. They're the ones and that's the almost homage to the 51 movie where they get the videos of them forming the circle and
Yeah.
using thermite to bring it out of the ice and all that. Um, but it's the claustrophobia that John Carpenter gives you in this isolated small camp in Antarctica. Small and you have a small cast, which is good because you get to know these characters. And there are no women in the movie.
Yeah.
Women change everything. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing, but a woman in this movie would have changed the dynamic so much that it would not have been the same film. So having the all male cast is another just big part of this film. The effects are so good. There are a couple of documentaries on YouTube that you can watch regarding the effects of this movie.
Yeah.
And if you can just type it in, you can find it. They're easy enough to stumble across. The effects are so good. The poor effects coordinator literally they made him, he was like hospitalized because he was working himself to death trying to get all this stuff done because they were doing things no one had ever done before.
Yeah. Well, I want to say the guy, I mean, the primary special effects person too, like this was his first film.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stan
And
Winston does like one thing. It's the dog scene in the kennel.
mhm.
Stan Winston lent a hand there, but the rest of it, I think his name is Bowman.
Yeah, I can't think of his name off the top of
I
my head, but I mean,
believe. I'm
it's
trying to.
horrifying. I
The effects
mean,
are well in the practical. So it's all practical effects,
yeah.
which is what there's something that practical effects give that CGI maybe one day will make the leap, but right now it simply doesn't. It's a very tangible thing. It is a real physical thing that is on the screen. And they also have the matte paintings in the background, and the matte paintings
Yeah.
are just beautiful pieces in this. The alien ship in the ice that's been melted, that's been there for 100,000 years. It's gorgeous work, and you never doubt for a minute that these people are in Antarctica. You don't even think that they're not because
Yeah.
everything tells you they are. Just the opening beats of the movie, the dog running across the snow with the helicopter chasing it, and you got the theme of the thing is that bass line, bum 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 bum
Yeah.
bum bum, and then slowly the strings come in. It's I have this soundtrack as well, also on vinyl because I'm
Oh
way
yeah,
back.
no, it's well, and John Carpenter does all the music for his films too.
So this is Carpenter and the Italian composer. He did the music for The Untouchables.
Mhm.
Oh gosh, Roman, be smarter. Sorry, I'm looking at the thing and it's
No,
like
no, no, no,
10,000 stuff
you're
here.
good.
Um,
Well, while you're looking, I'm gonna bring up some comments. Matt Cat said this is a
Oh,
fantastic.
Ennio Morricone.
Okay.
And again, you've heard his music many times, but he's the other.
Yeah. No,
Those two are listed on the album.
it's got a really good score.
It's great.
And you get like little things too, like again that kind of like hint towards the isolation too, with like right there's the moment where like they're watching recorded shows on VHS, like that's all that they got for
Yes.
entertainment. In terms if they want to watch something, right, and they're playing cards, they got like a pool table, and uh, yeah, what is it? Jacob or no, Samuel said, everybody's competent, and it's true. I mean, everybody for the most part is. There's a few little things here or there, but it's not like there's anybody where you'd really go like they're, that guy's a complete moron.
Right, because there's no room for that down there. There's just not.
No,
I mean, like the most expendable guy is the cook, Knowles. And
yeah,
I say expendable, but quite honestly, everybody else has got a job to do. So having a full-time cook is good because that way you're not taking away from what the scientists are supposed to be working on. And McCready, does. Oh, all right,
yeah.
Samuel.
Thanks for coming by.
His job is helicopter pilot. I mean, that's it. That's what he
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Speaking of Knowles, it's sad. T.K. Carter recently passed away.
He did very recently.
Yeah, very sad. And but that I was gonna say, and he's somebody who nearly lasts till the end of the film too, for being kind of the most, like you said, of them, right? He's just the cook in the sense of right all the other things that people do. It's not that he's not important, but at the same time, right? Of the people, if he was the one that wasn't around, they could still survive, but the cook can't fly a helicopter.
Well, and I mean, you had a lot of good characters in this as well. The dog handler, Clark. He's a cold, emotionless man. All he does is manage the dogs. And then Childs, who is nothing but emotion, like pure emotion.
Yeah.
Kind of the opposite of definitely the opposite
Keith
of Childs.
David. Yeah.
He's so good in this too.
He is.
And Wilford Brimley. Wilford Brimley and people Wilford Brimley's in the Thing. Wilford Brimley is in the Thing, and he is brilliant in the Thing. And I am so much older now than he was in this movie, which is peculiar to think about because I thought he was like 60 something in this movie. He was not. Wilford Brimley got old when he was like 9.
All them Quaker Oats.
It's all the oats, man. Diabetes. But I mean, we Fuchs, Gary, Clark, Bennings, and the transformation of Bennings is like one of the best. That's when he's kneeling out in the snow and he's not quite done, and his hands are all misshapen. And he lets out that mournful scream.
Oh yeah,
which is unnerving because it's not human. It doesn't sound anything like human. And then they burn it, and then the paranoia of not knowing who's who, going through, and ultimately they, trying to figure out what kind of test can we do to figure out who's who and who's not, and that's right out of the book, the stuff that they do. Like I said, as far as adaptations goes, it's extremely well done.
Oh yeah.
And the head is also like everybody's favorite part.
Now, oh yeah, I mean that's
you gotta be.
Just it is like it is so impressive and grotesque at the same time, and it's interesting too because right this is a sci-fi horror film, and as gory and as shocking as Alien was, I like this movie better. This is
same.
As much as I loved Alien growing up, when I saw this was scarier than Alien to me, and just such a better film.
Well, it's scary in a different way,
and it's but it's almost kind of like I feel like too with the grotesqueness though, the interesting thing, because I'm not a big fan of like Freddy Krueger type horror or like even like Hellraiser, but that's almost what this horror is like. It's so graphic.
It is, but it's a different kind of gore.
Yeah,
Um, because it's really just
it's body
excuse me,
horror. I
so
mean,
over the
it's
top when he's doing the chest compressions, and then the chest opens up and it's got
oh
these giant fangs in it, and then the arms get bitten off. Um, but I guess it's different because it's almost more animal kind of
it,
thing than it's
but
not human
it's
on human violence.
but almost though like in a way though it is though like even though it's an alien, right? Like it's almost demonic.
It is, and one of the nice things I like about this, and even in the novel, you don't know the true nature of this being. You don't know what it looks like.
Yeah,
You never know that. You also never know on the ship. Was it the pilot? Was it a passenger? Was it cargo? You have no idea what this thing is. You just know that it is alien and extremely alien. It's not a little bit like us. It's nothing like us. Oh, hi, Zax,
hey Zax,
sir.
thanks for coming by.
Um,
Yeah, no, that's a great point. That you don't know. Yeah, was this the species of the craft, or was it something like essentially like the xenomorph, where it was being transported by something else?
right.
Um,
And I like the these guys are smart enough to understand. Blair is the first one it really clicks with that this thing, given what it can do, cannot be allowed to spread. It cannot get off. It can't get out of this camp. None of them, they are all compromised. That's what Blair sabotages the helicopter. He damages the radio equipment. He makes it so that they're trapped and they're going to, the goal is to die there from Blair's
yeah,
perspective, because you can't risk it because you don't know. You don't know who's who and who's a thing, which, as you know, from the movie. And this is a little bit different in the novelization because it's building a kind of ship as well because it's trying to escape. And their big fear is they don't want it to become a bird. Don't want it to get access to a bird because then it could fly to the mainland
yeah,
from Antarctica. But the concept itself, because it shows the level of thought that went into this. It's not just we need to kill the monster. It's far beyond we just need to kill the monster. We don't know if we're the monster. And again,
yeah.
these more interesting themes that are at work
Well,
in the overall body.
and that brings up right to the ending. Do you? Do you?
I don't know what just happened. I'm in charge
I
now.
lost I
Yes.
lost connection for a second. I don't know what happened either. That freaked me out. I let me double check something here. What did I connect to? Did I connect to my Ethernet or my Wi-Fi? I don't know, but I'm back. I was gonna say the ending. Do you think that Childs was the thing? Because that's almost kind of the other thing where
Yeah, the ambiguous
the,
ending.
there. Well, but also too, right at the same time, there was clearly it's spread though. That's the other thing. There were parts of it here, parts of it there. Um, and
I've
so
seen a lot of theories about the end of the movie.
I have
Um,
two. But like for you, like when you watch that, do you think, you know,
and
do you think
the
that
one
Childs was one?
the one I subscribe to is that neither of them are.
Yeah.
I
I
don't think either because there's not a lot of win to be had. And I don't know. And this is one of those things in my brain that I don't know. I don't know if it recognizes if it has that ability to do so, if it knows
yeah.
when it's another thing. Because
Yeah.
each part of the organism is it's part of a whole, but it's separate.
Yeah.
It's a strange critter. And in their mind, do they even know? Like I said, if it mimics you perfectly, your thoughts, your all your mental patterns in your mind, it knows what you know. So
Yeah.
does it become you so fully that you don't now? So little spoiler for the novel that's like 70 years old now. Um, in the book, you don't know if you're a thing until something threatening happens that causes survival kind of instincts to kick in.
Yeah.
Um, it's I think in the novel, the character of Gary, if I'm not mistaken, but he doesn't know he's a thing until they do the test, and he's like, and then of course they have to kill him. But it's a
Yeah. Um, yeah, no, I mean, I kind of like to think that too, that they're both still human. But at the same time, it is such a bleak ending because it's
but you don't know it. I mean, and
yeah,
it all is theory because they don't say, and I like that. I like that Carpenter likes his audience enough not to just this is what it is.
yeah,
So I appreciated that. Another interesting, just little tidbit: the burning of the camp was literally the burning of the camp. They did that was the set. They cooked the set for that ending of the movie.
yeah.
They got one shot at it because that was it. There wasn't any more set. They burned the whole thing.
I just always think of I can't think of the guy who's like he's almost like the sheriff of the group, the older gentleman.
Oh, Gary, that's Gary.
Gary, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say if only he hadn't shot the Norwegian.
He didn't speak Norwegian, so that
I
was the
know.
problem. Because the Norwegian is literally telling you everything that you need to
Yeah,
know,
yeah. He's telling
but
you it's
no one speaks
stay
Norwegian.
away from the dog. It's some kind of thing. Yeah. Um,
That's the and I the 2011 movie, which I don't really like. Um, that is the
that
best part of that movie
yeah,
is the end of that movie
it
when the
is.
helicopter's flying and the dog, and you're like, oh, here it is, and then
You're right.
the scene.
That
Basically,
is
that's it.
that is
That's
the
that's the
best.
only redeeming part of that movie.
It is. Well, the other fault I think too, right, with that movie is they intended to do practical effects and they did, and then the
Yep,
studio decided to change them to CGI,
looked
and
horrible. Looked
and that's
bad.
yeah, yeah. It that
Well, it also never to me. This is a everything's this kind of medium is very subjective. I never got the 1982 vibe out of this movie. It felt very much like now, except they had a Walkman.
yeah,
All right, but it never felt like they were supposed to have a period piece, which it kind of is.
yeah, yeah. And well, that was kind of the other thing too, that 2011 film felt too new. Not just even
Yeah,
from the CGI, but just kind of like the even to like their base. It was just so well lit and everything, and so
yeah. It
overly
didn't capture, and
yeah,
it's not supposed to. Obviously, not supposed to be the same place. So I get that.
sure,
And but I do give the filmmakers a bit of credit though because they went back and they studied the first film, The Norwegian Camp. So
yeah,
everything that happens in that camp, they went back and they're like, okay, when did this happen? When did it happen? And they made it all happen within that film. It's the execution is not good. I give them props for
yeah,
giving at least trying that. I like I said, the movie doesn't need to exist. It doesn't add
yeah.
anything to this universe.
You almost could have just made it could have been a short fan film of the
It
opening
would have
leading up
probably
to
been better.
yeah, yeah. But no, I mean like the camp of the movie is good because it's not dirty, but like there's areas where it's cluttered. There's some areas where it's dimly lit, and um, it's right. It's clearly people are living there, and there's certain things stored here and there. Like it felt very natural. Like these guys had been here a while with what they were doing. Um, and yeah, it is. It's one of those. If you have not seen this, you got to watch it.
Yep.
It will scare you in a fun way. It'll
Yes.
horrify you in a fun way. But yeah,
And there's not multiple versions of this. There is
yeah,
a version of the film.
there's just one.
So
Um, I do. I mean, I like. It's interesting because yeah, the theatrical poster kind of mimics the thing from another world, right?
it
And
does.
and
Yes. You
even
get you
to
get nothing from it.
but you get nothing from it. but like the lettering on the far right is from the theatrical one and the original one. But the poster in the center, that's when you get the credits open. That's actually the way the
Yep.
title looks, and
And
it's
they did that by burning a garbage bag
yeah, okay,
stretched over the frame of the words, and then they melted so that you get that kind of weird thing as it's
yeah,
uh, dissolving, and then the blue light shining through.
yeah, I
Again,
love that.
it's a practical effect. The
Yeah,
credit is a practical effect.
it is, and I love that opening.
I also have the
Really good.
McCready action figure back here in the collection
Oh, okay, very
with the
cool.
sombrero.
Yeah, I love. He's got the sombrero and the glasses on. He looks great. It's good. Yeah, no, this was a great pick. And then your next one, it's another 1982 classic and
Oddly
another.
enough, yeah, somehow I don't, and I didn't even, honestly, I didn't even realize I'd done that until you asked the question. I'm like, oh, they're all from 1982.
And then I just thought it was funny. And well, that and they're all sci-fi too.
And there are, I could have, there are different ways to go. Sci-fi is my genre. I like dramas as well, but I love sci-fi. Sci-fi is my playground. Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan. It's not just the best of the Star Trek films, which it is.
Yeah,
It's also top tier sci-fi. Um, nice. This movie, you don't have to know anything about Star Trek to enjoy this movie either, which is the nice thing. This movie, I say this with some trepidation, should have been the first movie. Star Trek: The Motion Picture. I myself like that movie as a reintroduction to these characters, but it is long-winded. It did take a more cerebral approach, more of a 2001: A Space Odyssey versus Space Cowboys kind of look. And it didn't it fell kind of flat with audience as well. But I think what they were doing was they were fighting timelines. If we don't get something out there now, are we ever going to get something out there? That kind of thing. So it was better to have that, and then then you get Wrath of Khan. Without that, I don't know if you necessarily get Wrath of Khan. But Wrath of Khan, it just they changed the uniforms, which were just so good. The iconic, red jacket with the black pants. It's just this is the best looking uniform they've ever had.
yeah. Well, you would call that too because it's got like the panel. Is that like a single breasted or is that double breasted?
Oh, with a flap thing.
Yeah,
I don't even know what you call it, but I like it. I don't
yeah.
even know what purpose it serves.
It doesn't
But
seem
it
like it
looks
serves a
great.
purpose, but sometimes it looks good when he's just like they got it like
But he's
undone.
got
Like,
it down, right?
yeah.
And they're where everybody is in this movie makes a lot more sense. Spock is captain of Enterprise, and Enterprise has become kind of a training ship, which it's an older ship of the fleet, so it kind of makes sense that would be a thing. Although it did just get a refit a few years earlier between Star Trek the motion picture, which they made a whole point of telling you, and they wanted to go through those long shots of Enterprise. This did that a little bit. This one did it enough. Whereas motion picture did it far too long. And again, everything you got in this picture would have been a great first movie, but things happen. The core of this movie, the best part of this movie, is the relationship between these characters, between Kirk and Spock and McCoy. They are the heart of this movie, and this is a very emotional film as well. Anyone who doesn't shed a tear during the Spock's death scene or Kirk's speech at the funeral, which is easily William Shatner's best bit of acting ever, when his voice trembles. Of all the souls I encountered in my travels, his was the most human. It just punches you right in the gut. And originally it was scripted that Spock was going to stay dead. They changed it, of course, because when they got going, they knew what they had, and they had to promise Nimoy directing credits to get him to come back for Star Trek 3. Ricardo Montalban in this as well, absolute powerhouse.
Yeah.
And he's having to shake off Fantasy Island. That's all people know Ricardo Montalban for at this point in his career. They know him as Mr. Rourke with with tattoo on the island. He's that nice
Yeah.
Mr. Rourke. When I was 11 or 12 when this came out as well. WPIX in New York, I was living in Vermont at the time as a kid, was running not in 24-hour circles, but it was playing it quite often before this because Star Trek was coming out. They were playing Space Seed from the original series so that people could get reacquainted with who is this Khan.
Yeah.
And they do, again, you don't need to see that to get this. It helps. It does help because there are certain references that are made to Khan's wife, Ceti Alpha 4, Ceti Alpha 5. Chekhov and the other captain.
Yeah, I can't. I know you're talking about. I can't.
Damn my brain. Captain Terrell, Paul Winfield, who was in the Terminator as well. They're great. Chekhov gets a really good role in this, and the earworm is one of the most brutal things ever. That makes you squirm in your seat even now when you watch it. Again, a really great practical effect. And just in the Botany Bay, and the scene where Chekhov is, they're just kind of going around this container that's been transformed into a living space, and he looks at the buckle on that's hanging down, and Botany Bay. Oh no! And you feel his terror as they're getting ready to we need to get out of here now. It's this movie from start to end. It's Moby Dick is this movie with Khan playing Captain Ahab to Kirk's Moby Dick. Then, which he gets quoted quite often through the film as well. If anyone wonders where those wild quotes came from, that's all from Moby Dick. The Cat and Mouse, Kirstie Alley, Saavik.
Yeah.
Saavik's, and some of the best lines are exchanged between Saavik and Kirk when they are down in the Genesis cave. The whole code system that they have worked out, the Kobayashi Maru. This is where you learn about the Kobayashi Maru. It didn't really exist in Star Trek lore. It exists because of this movie, where the movie opens up with the Kobayashi Maru. Saavik is doing the training it's not on Enterprise. It's supposed to be Enterprise, but it's a training room. And they go into Romulan territory. Everything gets blown up. And you don't know this when you're watching the movie the first time. You're like, what the hell? Spock's dead. McCoy's dead. Yeah. And then Kirk's like, stop simulation. It opens up, and the Admiral, all you get is the silhouette of Kirk walking in. It's just so well done. This is one of those movies. There is nothing I don't like about this movie. And that's, again, why is it one of my favorites? This is, in the soundtrack, my brain used to be so much better. James Horner. The soundtrack for this is just absolutely brilliant. It's dark, and it definitely drives behind the scenes. So when they enter Motara Nebula, you end up with this kind of weird sounding stuff. When the ships are in combat, the music is pounding. It's just so well done. And Nicholas Meyer, who also directed Star Trek 6, which I know people are going to hate. It's an okay movie, but Star Trek 2 and 3 and 4, the one with the whales, I like that movie. It's kind of goofy, but I still like it. Those are my 3 favorite of the series. Star Trek 5 is unforgivable, but Star Trek 6 isn't a bad movie. I just don't. It just doesn't have the easy flow of this movie. There's a lot I can pick apart on Star Trek 6. I can't pick apart anything on Star Trek 2. Not one thing in the movie. I can say, why is Khan's crew so young? That's about it. That's my only pick. That's a pretty minor one. But everything else is just because it's so well thought out, from Genesis to the space station to Kirk's son. his past relationship, and the conversations that happen because of these things. These feel like real interactions. This is how people actually talk, and which isn't the way movies are made anymore. People don't talk like that. People don't. What are they saying to each other? No one would use those words. In this movie, they do, and then McCoy and Spock's banter back and forth when they're talking about Genesis. It would remove such life in favor of its new matrix. In favor of its new matrix. Do you even know what you're saying? You green-blooded inhuman, and it's again. I've seen it so many times. I know the dialogue well.
Yeah.
My Mrs. of the Empire hates watching it with me because I talk along with the movie like a lunatic. But there are so many good parts to this movie, and again, the end hits you with a punch. But then they close it out and they give you that soft ending, though. They go down to Genesis with Spock giving the classic Star Trek opener, space, the final frontier. These are the voyages. And it leaves you there because you don't know. At that point, you don't know, but it leaves you with that hope. And Kirk close, if indeed this, is life from death, I must revisit this place again sometime. And it's just the closing of the movie is as well done as the opening of the movie. I don't have anything bad to say about this. It's just great.
I was gonna say, what was experiencing Spock's death, at the time, because when the movie came out, you don't know that he's gonna come back. At that point, you're like, oh my God, Spock's dead. Like what was that? What was that like for you?
No, as a kid, because Star Trek is one of my beloved series. I used to watch Star Trek, the original series, with my old man. He's the one who introduced me to it. The first episode I ever saw was the Devil in the Dark. That's the one with the Horta. And I these are memories that are ingrained with me. So I grew up with these characters. I mean, I was 6 years old when I started watching Star Trek, and so now this is, like I said, 11 or 12-year-old me watching this. And Star Trek: The Motion Picture, like I said, for me as a kid, it was a bit cerebral. I like it far better now than I did then. It was kind of cold then. But Wrath of Khan was just right up my alley. So as a little kid, when Spock died, that wasn't good. Because you're not of the older mind where well, they may make a sequel and they might bring him back. But that was before they really even did such things.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a guarantee. That was hard. Now, Spock's death for me was harder as a kid. Now watching the movie, Kirk's speech is harder for me to watch.
Mm-hmm.
That evokes more emotion in me than that scene does. Part of it because being a military person, retired, I understand the gravity of that scene a lot more, and it's extremely well done. The reverence that they give to essentially a burial at sea. It's extremely well done. Like I said, it's a lot harder hitting for me now than even Spock's death, which is still a hard hitting scene.
Sure. Well, right. It's at that moment. It's Kirk's got to live with the fact that his best friend's is gone. Right.
Yes. Well, in Star Trek 3 does a nice job with this when Spock's father Sarek comes to visit Kirk. For his Katra, Kirk doesn't know what he's talking about, but then he does the mind meld with him, and it makes him relive the death scene with Spock, and that's really tough. Seeing Kirk have to go through and say the words again, in full cognizance of his friend is dead. I like Search for Spock a lot. I don't think people give it enough credit.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch the movies back to back, aside from Savick getting replaced by Robin Curtis, and Uhura's hair changes. It's a very good flow from one movie to the next in that continued story. And the theft of Enterprise. There's a lot of good things about Star Trek 3. It's also very hard for me to watch Star Trek 2 and not have to watch Star Trek 3.
Well, it does have Christopher Lloyd too.
It does have Christopher Lloyd as the Klingon.
Yeah.
No, fuck. Hey, Jim
Uh,
Gutowski from Taxi.
yeah, well, that's pre Doc Brown.
It is. It
Christopher
is
Lloyd.
for Doc
Yeah.
Brown.
Um, yeah. I mean, this is such a fun movie to watch, and Ricardo Montalban does. I mean, one shines because he is acting
Yeah,
throughout this movie. Not only that, I mean, he is jacked in this film
he
too.
is. That people, he's not wearing a chest piece for this
Yeah,
movie. That's him. That
yeah,
is he got in incredible shape for this movie.
yeah.
And
He is cut.
he does. He is like a Shakespearean villain in this though. Ah, Kirk, my old friend. Do you know the proverb, the Klingon proverb of the revenge is a dish best served cold? It's very cold in space.
Yeah.
He just he delivers the lines with venom, and his death scene is just fantastic. Where he's basically doing the Moby Dick scene, but it's you buy it, He sells it, and you buy it.
Well, and then right, I mean, that was when they rebooted Star Trek, right? And they essentially created a new timeline, and everybody kind of went like, "Are they going to do Wrath of Khan for the second one?" But I mean, that was what was missing from it, in the sense of, right, like you had a great actor like Benedict Cumberbatch, but there was nothing
Wasted.
between. There was nothing between those two. There was
No,
nothing that. I mean, that's what made Khan such a great villain because he was scorned by Kirk, who they didn't intend to, have
no,
them be where they were, but it's kind of like a good example of, if a more modern take. It's Planet Hulk in World War Hulk. I feel like is almost Wrath of Khan, right?
no.
It's these people
Yeah,
who had they intended to
yes,
send them somewhere else.
yeah, but
They
he
didn't
ended up.
end there.
Oh,
Yeah, and
oh,
that the person who goes to the wrong place is not happy about it, and
no.
come.
Well,
Uh,
and when Khan when Chekhov's trying to, you lie on SETI Alpha 4, there was life. This is SETI Alpha 4. 6 months after we were marooned here, SETI Alpha 5 exploded, laying this place to waste. And but again, it's exposition,
yeah,
but it serves the purpose of you didn't need to necessarily know this
yeah,
background before, and he just fills it in a very dramatic and powerful way, and it works so well.
yeah. But it's enough to let you know why he is the
And
way
why
that
is
he
he
is,
so mad?
right? And you, but it is. I mean, that's what always, to an extent, makes a good villain, where you can have a bit of sympathy for them and understand them.
If you
Um,
understand their perspective,
yeah,
you don't have to necessarily agree with
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
perspective,
yeah,
but you understand what his motivations are. Why does he hate Kirk so much? Why is he willing to
yeah.
go to these lengths?
And yeah, no. I mean, it's a really, really good
And
Star
the
Trek
effects.
film.
The
Yeah,
effects are also awesome. The space battles between Enterprise and Reliant are extremely well done.
yeah,
The Nebula has got their visuals and scanners all dorked up. So they're basically using, old time submarine tactics to try to figure out where in this thing is my enemy.
hmm,
And some of it is tactics, some of it is just blind luck on Kirk's part. Kirk has like the best luck in the galaxy always.
yeah,
And they just pop up at the right time, and it's like fire, and they obliterate Reliant. But it is a fun movie. It's emotionally impactful movie, and it's visually gorgeous. It's the space scenes are stunning, and it's again, I don't there's not a bad thing to say about this film. It's just a great piece of work.
yeah. No, really, really good. I agree. Good choice. And clearly, 1982 was a great time for
It was a good
sci-fi.
year.
Well, no,
This
he's
movie
wrong.
was well received. On the other hand,
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
unlike the first two,
The other
this
ones,
movie was
yeah,
well
very,
received.
very true. Um, and kept Star Trek going, because the first one, it did well, but it was not right. Like you said, a lot of people are like,
Yeah.
this is not what they thought, and this one really changed things up and set the tone for the rest of the films too.
Well, the
Uh,
problem, I mean, the problem with the first one, there are a lot of problems with the first one, but
yeah,
people were coming off Star Wars, 1977.
yeah,
So there was kind of a expectation, and quite honestly, I don't know without Star Wars that Star Trek gets to come back. It may not have. People were
yeah.
looking for space stuff, so it worked out. But without Star Trek original, you don't have Star Wars. It's that kind of completion of the
But
circle.
it's nice that they did not turn Star Trek into Star Wars
No,
either.
no, no, and thank goodness. Even Star Trek 2, it's nothing like that. It's a
Yeah,
lot more fast paced. There's a lot more action going on. Um, Star Trek's the most picture. Like I said, it's a slow
yeah.
drag getting there. Um, but like I
But
said, I think you needed that. But you had a movie. But Alien and Star Trek the motion picture came out the same year,
yeah,
1979. Um, Alien is a vastly superior film on literally every facet. They're very different sci-fi movies, though.
oh yeah,
Alien is more like straight. It's sci-fi horror. It's also sci-fi. Star Trek in that one is just like I said, that's like cerebral sci-fi as opposed to sci-fi adventure, which is what you get with Wrath of Khan, Search for
yeah.
Spock, all those films.
But no, I was just gonna
Clearly,
say,
we've been
like,
talking about this for a
I'm
long
glad
time.
though that none of these films ever felt like they were trying to copy Star Wars.
No,
They
no, Star
they
Trek stayed Star Trek,
they
stayed.
did, yeah,
And now I don't know what it is, but for this era of Star Trek, it was very much Star Trek.
yeah, yeah. No, no, I get what you mean with I don't know what Star Trek currently is. So, well, cool. Well, we are gonna go get into your favorite shows, and we'll start off with your first choice, Justified.
So what I there's a just a and I picked every series that I picked for this. I picked them because I thought they were good from inception to closure. Most series don't do this, which is why I'm going to throw a couple spoilers out there now. Doctor Who and Star Trek: The Original Series are some of my favorite things, but Star Trek: The Original Series had no ending. It just one day it was gone, and that last season was rough. There's some really bad episodes, and Doctor Who is still with quotes around it going on, but you also have eras of Doctor Who which are just going from to a modern era Who, which you have some absolutely unwatchable stuff. So Justified follows, and people may not be familiar with this. Timothy Oliphant plays Raylan Givens. He's a U.S. Marshal. He gets sent to Harlan, Kentucky, because he literally shoots a bad guy at a table. He gave him a timeline to get out of town, and he didn't. And so Raylan just waited, and then the guy
But
was drawn on him, and
uh,
Raylan's faster. He's like,
Tommy Bucks, right? That was the guy's
Tommy
name.
Bucks.
Yeah,
Yes. um, and this is another series where the bad guy is as important as the good guy. And you go through, a kind of a series of different leads in the bad guy role, but Boyd Crowder, played by Walton Goggins, is always there. And he becomes, sometimes he's more important, sometimes less important, but he is always there. In the beginning and at the end, he is incredibly important. And Walton Goggins as Boyd Crowder, it's hard to see him in anything else afterwards.
oh yeah.
He's done it. He's a good actor. He's one of those actors that him being in the thing makes the thing better.
Well, real quick too with him, it's funny because I remember seeing him in such other bit roles, things like that, and sometimes he was kind of like he was in what is it? It's the what is the Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson movie?
I
Uh,
don't know.
it's
I
not Rush
don't.
Hour, but
I don't know.
Shanghai Noon, right?
Oh,
That's what it
okay.
is.
I
Well,
accept your answer.
he
I
he
don't. I
well
don't. I'm not familiar with
he
it.
plays like this like dumb hick robber in this film, and
Oh
It almost looks like, I think it's his real teeth, but he almost looks like he's got fake teeth, like fake
no,
giant teeth.
he lost his two front teeth playing
Yeah,
baseball.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
his teeth are ridiculous though. They're huge.
They are,
They're like this big.
but not only that, but like they're like unnaturally white too. Like he's got
Yes.
on top of it. But like, right? I mean, just playing these bit character parts, and then right, he does something like this, and he is just so menacing, and
Yes. And well, and you didn't Boyd Crowder, and again, he's a good bad guy because
yeah,
you understand him, and he is an evolving character. He doesn't
yeah,
he's not flat. He starts off in one place and ends up in a completely he's still an outlaw, but he's a much more evolved outlaw than when he starts this series out. Um, and I love all the weird little side characters. Dewey Crow,
yeah,
Dewey Crow with his alligator foot hanging around his neck. Um, Ava Crowder, I love Ava. Ava is just she's and again she's an evolving character. You're rooting for Ava. She makes some bad bad life
yeah,
choices. But you're always rooting for Ava. And one of my favorite characters though is Art, Raylan's boss. Um, he when Raylan first gets there, he's very welcoming, but the longer Raylan is there and the more kind of, there's no way that this many things would happen to a person, because it's a series. But the more stuff that Raylan brings in or happen because of Raylan, the less tolerant Art becomes of him.
yeah,
And it's just kind of hilarious. Nick Searcy plays the boss,
yeah.
and he's in charge of where the hell actually they're not in Harlan, they're out of
They're in
where are they
Kentucky
out of?
though, right?
They're in Kentucky,
Yeah,
somewhere
yeah,
Kentucky, the main whatever one of the big cities is. So I have to forget my brain, but they're in Harlan an awful lot, which is why my brain went there. That's where Raylan is from. But like Raylan's dad, there are so
Oh,
many
what
good.
like I say is Raylan's dad is like the
He is
definition
such a
of
piece of
son
crap.
of a bitch.
Yeah, he is a very hateable character.
Oh yeah,
He's and every now and then he'll do something that's like okay, but he
yeah.
is just a bad guy
Like when
all the way
he,
through.
yeah,
Arlo Givens.
Arlo. That's right. I was gonna say like the one time like I can think of something redeemable he did is when he stopped the one Marine at the VA who was
Yes.
gonna commit suicide, and uh, I was gonna say another character that I love on this show is Tim.
Oh
The
yeah,
the
yeah. Gutterson, the
yeah,
sniper.
yeah, the sniper. He is really really good. He was one that I always wish there was more of him.
Yes, and which is great, right? It's you didn't feel like oh man, there's Tim again.
Yeah,
Um, I love the way that he plays the character. Um, he's one of those guys who's like here all the
yeah,
time. But he gets some really great one-line dialogue, and you get just enough of his backstory to
yeah.
understand he's a very dangerous man.
Oh yeah,
Um, and you get to see it every once in a while, but the ensemble cast here is just so well put together between your good guys and your bad guys. Win Duffy starts off. He's a scary dude originally,
yeah,
who becomes a little bit more comical,
yeah.
sort of.
You realize he's not as bad as you thought he was. Like
As
in
you
terms
thought he
of
was.
intimidation, like you think he's a big bad boss. He's really not a big bad boss. He's a little boss.
Yeah, yeah. He's like lower middle management boss. Um, But again, like I said, but you go through a series of different. It's if it just focused on Boyd for 6 seasons, it wouldn't have worked.
No.
So introducing these different scenarios, and you get Sam Elliott with no mustache in the last season, which is really strange. That's off putting.
Yeah.
But the series had again, it had a great story arc. you didn't have a bad season of Justified. Now there were, like I said, with introducing different antagonists, so different plot lines are evolving. But it's all, I mean, it's a complete storyline for Raylan and this cast of characters. And the conclusion of this series is extremely satisfying. Now they did, and I have to throw this caveat out. They did a one-off series, a very short run, Justified City Primeval. I don't even remember how many episodes it is because I stopped watching it because
Yeah.
it's it is not justified. It is, but it's not. It's not well done. It's not well produced. Raylan is doing stuff that Raylan wouldn't do. Avoid that. Pretend that doesn't exist. That's what I do. But Justified, the original series, had a great conclusion. And they all, of course, they in the new thing they muck it up. So just don't ever watch it. That way, it never gets ruined for you. Well, it's interesting. The relationship between Boyd and Raylan is also complicated because they were young men together digging coal, and then life happens. Boyd stays there, becomes kind of a low-level gangster, and Raylan goes off, becomes a U.S. Marshal, and their worlds colliding again when Raylan comes back to Kentucky it's absolute gold.
Yeah. Well, and then they do have moments of almost. There's moments where Boyd is like a good guy in the series, and then there's moments he becomes a bad guy again too.
Yes,
He's
a complicated character.
Yeah. Well, and then this series too, like every season, they've got kind of like a new villain to deal with, and there is some phenomenal actors. I mean, one of the best is it's the second season, and it's Mags Bennett.
Mags Bennett is great with her apple pie moonshine.
Yeah, and
man, that's a really good season.
The actress that plays her does such a good job. I mean, you think that it's this, big fat, older lady's this going to be the sweet character, and she is terrifying.
Her sons are horrible,
oh,
horrible people. That actress was also in The Americans. I don't know if you ever saw.
I never saw that.
The Americans is another really good series. I won't dwell on that, but she plays a Russian kind of handler over other agents in that. She's very good in that as well. Yeah, but Mags Bennett is a great character. That was also from that's again, you don't get a bad season of Justified.
Yeah,
but I will give you Mags Bennett was a top tier.
Oh yeah, she was good. And then even too, like there are some actors that like I wonder, because of certain people's connections, did they pop up where gosh, I can't think. He's Timothy Oliphant, right? Did Deadwood.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an episode where W. Earl Brown pops up, who he was I'm trying to think of his name right now. He was Dan Doherty on Deadwood. He was like I can't think of the main villains, like his main henchman.
Swearinger.
Yeah, Swearinger. Thank you.
Swearington. Al Swearington.
Yeah, but he pops up. He pops up as a convict being transferred at the FBI office, and he takes somebody hostage. Yeah. That was
a really good episode.
It was, and he, like they're giving him, like, he wants fried chicken and some bourbon, yep. And it's and even too, like the fried chicken place that he mentions is a real place, I think out of Tennessee, Prince's Chicken. It's like this hole in the wall, but it's like super well known in the area, and it's such a good episode. But they would have some of these one-off episodes where they would get some great actors in there too. This is such a good show. My wife and I watched this together, and I watched, I think, the first season, and then I had it on DVD and when we first got married and watched it, and then I think by that time season 2 came out and she loved it. We were hooked on it. It's so good. And I mean, it's easy to like these characters. It's even easy to like the bad guys. I mean,
you're often rooting for Boyd Crowder.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, this is based on Elmore Leonard, the novelist, who's
it was Fire in the Hole.
Fire in the Hole. Yep. which is also that's what the first episode is called. And he's listed, I think, as executive producer on the series. I think he
I
actually
think
passed
so
away
too.
during the making of the series, if memory serves. But man, like I said, what a brilliant ensemble cast, and a series that had much like Mad Men. They knew what they were doing here, from
Yeah,
here to here, and they closed it out. And then there's nothing. Having a good series ruined by a bad ending sucks, or a non-ending, as
yeah,
sometimes happens. Like X-Files. X-Files is an example of this. I never felt X-Files had a decent conclusion. They had this kind of, remember, they came out with like season 10 a few years back, and it was very disjointed. They had a couple okay episodes in it, but again, nothing ever did this. You never got the wrap up. And
yeah,
even with the movies, it just didn't happen. It's a fine series. Its first couple seasons, probably first 3 or 4 seasons, are spot on, but then it unraveled really quick. Justified doesn't do that. Justified had 6 strong seasons. All the series that I gave to you, I own all of these on physical media because
mhm.
I never wanted to not be able to watch these whenever I wanted to.
Yeah, yeah. No, it is good. It was, I mean, it had a following at the same time. I still feel like it was slightly underrated too. Like people just did not know how good of a show this was.
It was on. I mean, it was on FX, so it
Yeah,
wasn't on regular network stuff. So they were
yeah,
able to get away with quite a bit more.
yeah.
Um,
But then it wasn't also on like premium cable where it wasn't on like
yes,
Showtime
they
or
couldn't get
HBO.
away with quite as many things.
Yeah. But I mean, I liked that too. I mean,
Yes.
that's that's a big issue I have with current streaming is it it's either beyond soft and like ridiculous, or they go so hard with everything where it's got to have swearing and it's got to have nudity and all these things. It's like I want to, like not everything has to have that.
No, and Game of Thrones. I'm going to use
Yeah,
Game of Thrones. I liked Game of Thrones, but I hated the sex stuff in Game of Thrones because it took you out of it, and quite honestly, it made it uncomfortable to watch. Trying to sit with the wife and watch the show, and then it's like, all right, that's great.
yeah,
Forward, there's a lot that you can do that what happened, but you don't need to be like right there in it, so to speak. And that's what Game of Thrones did.
yeah,
And that was kind of that really, well, Rome did the same thing, maybe to a lesser degree, but Rome had a lot of that too. Rome was also a really great series, but um, no, I agree with you. There's a lot that can be implied, and you get the same end game. You just don't have to wallow through the muck to get there.
yeah,
And Justified rode that line, I think, well. You knew what was going on.
yeah. No, I agree.
Ava and Raylan's first hookup, and I thought, hilarious. And then when Art was like, Raylan, you did not sleep with her, did you? I gave you one thing, Raylan, one thing.
Yeah. No, it's good. And now talking about this too, I'm like, I kind of want to watch this all over again. Like, I haven't seen this in a while. It was really good, and yeah, no,
And
I
Raylan's hat is also a character in the show.
oh yeah, yeah, his 10-gallon hat. And there's yeah, I think it's early on. I think it's in the first season. There's a moment he's driving with who is it? I always get her name mixed up with the wrong
Rachel?
person. With Rachel, yeah. And while she's driving the car and he's sleeping, she grabs the hat and tries it
Yes.
on. Yeah, it's really good. And she too, she kind of started off as a quiet character, and even she was great too. Erica Tazel, that's who it is. I always get her, and I always think her name is Natalie Zia, which is
Oh,
Winona. Raylan's ex-wife's name. But yeah, Rachel is really good. I mean, the whole team is super good. Yeah, great choice. I love it. Well, let's get on to your next one. This is one I remember seeing a lot of commercials for it, but I never watched it. So I'm curious to
Oh
hear
man.
hear about it.
Okay, Rescue
Rescue
Me.
Me.
Rescue Me is definitely a guy's show. This is this is post 9/11 New York firefighters. That's that's the gist of it. Following this crew of firefighters through their kind of ups and downs. Firefighting also takes place, but a lot of it is just following these guys around, what's going on in their lives. Dennis Leary is so good in this. And again, you have a very good ensemble cast here between the chief, the lieutenant, and Tommy Gavin. Tommy Gavin is the Dennis Leary character. We what this, I'm trying to find the right words. Having been in the military, this show is entirely relatable. I think anybody who's in a job like that will find this show very relatable. The way that the guys interact with each other, screw with each other, um, push each other, get in fights with each other, take care of each other like brothers. It's a like I said, it's a very guy oriented show. Um, and this ran, I think it was either 5 or 6 seasons. You'll have to forgive me on that. But this again had a very satisfying beginning and conclusion, and the whole series flowed well. There's not a bad season of Rescue Me, which is again why I chose it. And the ending is very satisfying. And one of the interesting things in the show, Dennis Leary, and they don't dwell on it in like a weird way. He sees the dead. Not all the time, but often. People he didn't save in fires. He has a whole life built around his cousin Jimmy, who died in the towers. All they found was his finger. So when Jimmy appears to him, Jimmy's always missing the finger, and it's just kind of it's funny. There's a lot of dark humor in this show. That again, if you're in a job like this, dark humor is part of what you do. I mean, that's how you get by.
Yeah,
A lot of times, how you get through tragedy is dark humor. And this show does a wonderful job with that. And there's a lot of relationship stuff in here. If everybody, all the wives, the ex-wives, it's kind of a hot mess. And you've got the newer guys on the crew who are just they're not very bright. And they make that hilarious. And so there's a little bit of 9/11 conspiracy stuff which comes in, which at the time of this show was considered very taboo. Now it's a
really.
little bit like maybe. So, but that wasn't back when this show aired. That was not the case. Franco, the character of Franco, he's one of the other guys in the team. He was a 9/11 conspiracy guy, and he and Tommy Gavin would get in fist fights about this because Tommy's like, don't ever say that, dishonor their memory, blah 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 blah. And the other guy's like, no, but you got to look at the end. And then it's well done because it's uncomfortable, and they make it
Yeah,
uncomfortable. Tommy has some substance abuse issues. He's an alcoholic who tries quite often to not be, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And it never glorifies it. And Tommy ends up in some real spots because of it. Um, and again, if you're in the job, you see a lot of the things that these guys see. And
oh
which I,
yeah,
which I think is why why the show resonated so well with me. Also, like I said, it's just um, the show. It's I don't know if it's even considered just straight up drama, or because it has so much dark humor in it that it could almost be considered a dramedy. um, but the good full story arc of these characters is very satisfying to start with them and end with them. Some of them meet some premature ends, and it's really tragic when it happens. There are some episodes of the show I can't watch because they hit too hard.
Wow.
And it's absolutely horrible. And I remember watching it with Misses of the Empire the first time, and we were both bawling. And it's like that was horrible. Um, but when a show can do that to you, that's something. That's writing. That
Yeah.
you're not just along for the ride. You are emotionally invested in what happens to these people and their families.
I was gonna say, you're talking about how you would categorize this. I mean, looking this up on Wikipedia, I mean, the first genre for it is comedy, drama, black comedy, and psychological drama. Or
It
the
hits
three
all
that,
that.
yeah,
I think like I said, it's hard. I would call it a drama that has a lot of dark humor in it because there's certainly many things that are not very funny that happen in this show.
yeah. Uh, no, I mean, kind of knowing that, yeah, it's. I never knew it was based around 9/11. I mean, yeah, that's something for all anybody involved that day. That's got to be rough.
Oh, and that's what so much of the show is driven around. It's not 9/11 itself. I mean, but
Yeah,
this is post 9/11. So they talk about 9/11 because they lost, a lot of their friends, a lot,
oh
all the
yeah,
guys they know. So this is that world. It's very close to that world. And for people who didn't live, at that time, certainly who were not in this line of work, it's a different thing. You're removed from it. But for guys like this who were literally in the center of it, that that's a defining moment that shapes the rest of your life. And that's where we are. Like I said, the events in the show are not that far removed from the events of 9/11.
yeah. No, that's got me curious to check this out too.
I think episode 1 will grab you and you'll be like, all right, 6 seasons, I can do it.
Yeah, now I'm curious too. I'm like,
And this
where?
was an FX series as well.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. I went to go look. I'm like, is your next choice an FX series? Because I'm gonna laugh if you if you've got another
No, it was a
connection here.
regular Fox series. It was a regular
Okay,
Fox
yeah, all
series.
right, yeah, Hulu. You can watch it on Hulu if
Oh,
you
okay.
got it. Tubi. Tubi's got it all
Oh, is
on
it
there
on
too.
Tubi? Really?
Yeah, yeah. Tubi is awesome.
Oops. I don't have that.
It's free. I was gonna say it's free.
Oh
Uh
crap.
oh.
I'm sorry. When I made my notes, I messed up, but I can fix it. It's a fixable thing.
Oh, okay, no problem.
No, it's
Uh,
I copied Rescue Me twice because I'm an
oh,
idiot.
you're good. Well, yeah, I was gonna say, if Tubi is free, app and service, and you can, if the only kind of reason to sign up for it is just it'll keep when you're signed in or logged in. If you watch something and you stop, you can go back to where you left off at. Otherwise, if you
Oh,
just
that's nice.
use it free, then you got to start all over. But there are there's a lot of like B movie and a lot of crud on it, but there are like always great films on there and series. I'm a huge Mystery Science Theater fan and Cinematic Titanic, and all of that is on there. And riff
I
tracks.
haven't heard the second one. I know Mystery Science Theater, of course, because
So
everyone knows Mystery
there's
Science Theater.
Mystery Science Theater, and then when that ended, kind of the people on those shows kind of split off, down the road to do other things. Um, the kind of the people who were doing the show later, so Mike, gosh, I can't think of their names. Then the guys who were doing Crow and Tom Servo's voices, they did something called I want to say it was the film crew, and then that was very short lived, and then they started Riff Tracks. And what Riff Tracks started off as is they were doing commentary for mainstream films. So you would buy the commentary and you would play it as you watch the film. So it was almost like doing Mystery Science Theater for an actual mainstream movie as opposed to a cheesy one.
B
But then they
B
started
B.
doing, yeah, but then they started doing their B movie stuff. And I don't know if they still do it or not, but when I lived in Northern California, there were theaters where they would actually stream live events to the movie theater from another theater, and they would perform a film live. and like I saw like Plan 9 from Outer Space, and
Oh, neat.
they did Birdemic. Oh man, that was a tough one to watch, but it was hilarious. But they did a handful of things that way, but they would perform them live in Tennessee at I forget what theater it was called, and then more of the kind of original performers did a group called Cinematic Titanic, and they did about a dozen movies, and then they did tours, and they came to San Francisco one year, and I went with a buddy of mine to go watch them. They did it. They did a double feature, did that, and then afterwards you got to go meet them. I got to go
Oh,
meet
that's
all these
cool.
guys and talk to them all, and they were all so nice and friendly, and especially Joel. I mean, I think I spent like 10, 15 minutes talking to the guy,
Oh,
and it was
nice,
just
dude.
great. And it was just about everything too, like it wasn't really even necessarily about Mystery Science Theater stuff. It was, they were all like, hey, where are you visiting us from? And, they were like very curious about their audience, which I thought was great. And it's somewhere around here. I do have, or maybe I gave it to my buddy who came with me. He helped me out with some stuff, and I knew he was a big fan, but I did have an autographed DVD for a while from like everybody. Um, but yeah. That's all on Tubi. So, were you able to fix your notes for your next
Yeah,
one?
yeah. It was
Okay.
easily correctable. I'm only mildly stupid, so
Okay, no problem. I
I
just
can keep up. I
want to
found
make
my way
sure
back. I found my way
make sure
back.
you're good to go. Well, cool. No, this is one I mean, I remember always seeing previews, especially too. I remember the ad where it was Dennis Leary and his mouth was like unnaturally opened up wide,
Yeah.
like unhinged, like a snake. I always remember that. I never kind of watched it.
All right, you should check it. Like I said, give it an episode, and I think you'll be like,
Okay, I'll be hooked. Okay, well, yeah, I'll check it out, and or at least try to. And if I do, I'll let you know what I think of it. So,
yeah.
and then we'll go on with your next one.
I think
Next
you'll
one
like
is another great show I love,
it.
Fringe.
Again, it had Fringe. So this people thought they were going to be getting an X Files kind of show with this, and it wasn't. So it confused people a bit.
Yeah,
This is the story. When they're talking about Fringe, you're talking about fringe science. Um, when it's obviously not mainstream science, really weird, bizarre science.
yeah,
And the story is mostly about Peter Bishop. He's the main protagonist in the show, and series of events happen. He ends up with Olivia Dunham, who is an FBI agent, and then his father, Walter Bishop, who is basically a mad scientist. Walter Bishop is one of my favorite all-time characters ever. Um, Walter is brilliant and quirky and just a very strange man. There's actually on Spotify, you can find the Walter Bishop playlist.
oh
It's
really?
all it is just so good. Um, but again, the ensemble cast in this is so good. And one of the things I love about this series, but it's not a thing not necessarily everybody loves, is that each season is different from the season before it. For whatever reason, the first season was very much an introductory season where you're getting to meet all these characters. Then the main shift of the show starts becoming um, a parallel universe, and
Yeah,
how these two things are connected and how these characters are connected to this universe. Um, and then Leonard Nimoy comes in as William Bell, who was Walter's partner, who has taken he's disappeared. No one knows where William Bell is. But it turns out it's a mild spoiler for a show that's almost 20 years old. He's been living in the parallel universe, and it's just fascinating stuff. And the relationship between Peter and Walter and Olivia, the father-son dynamic with Peter and Walter is incredibly complicated for a lot of reasons, and I don't really want to spoil it for people who haven't seen this series, so I won't say the why of it, but it's it's not just normal father son issues. There's a lot more at work in this, and
Yeah,
even these characters don't fully understand it for at the time, and then it comes to light, and it's like wow. And Olivia has played a bigger role in all the goings on. Lance Reddick as Philip Broyles, that's Olivia's boss in the FBI. He is so good in this show. He's another one of those actors who's always brilliant. Um,
and so
he's
sad that he's no longer with us.
it is. He's one of those guys who whatever he was in, he made it better.
Yeah,
Um, and the observers, the whole observer storyline with September is amazing, and it's so weird. So the observers, no one knows who they are. There's men, they're the men in black
yeah, the
essentially.
Men
They
in
have black
Black.
hats, no hair, and discovering their whole storyline, and then what ultimately happens in the final season, which is completely different. It's like so different than the rest of the seasons. Um, but that last season was really satisfying, and again it wraps the show up, and it's a great conclusion to this adventure that these characters have been on. And it brings a lot of other elements together, and it's people give up on it, I think, because it does they do a lot of shifting around, but it's worth sticking with for the ride. I love this show. I've seen it so many times. Um, I know there's a. I want to go talk about John Noble a little bit, um, who plays Walter Bishop. So they've got another FBI agent assigned to them, Astrid. Who plays Astrid?
It's Jessica
Jessica
Nicole.
Nicole. So she's basically she's kind of a
She
helper bee.
she's right underneath him actually in that photo. She's the black
Yes,
gal.
there's a there's an episode where people are coming to the lab and to wait to get to Walter, but he's not there, and but Astrid is, and so she takes a pretty good beating. And the when Walter comes in and he discovers her, it's one of those scenes. There's not a lot of words spoken, but there's just an incredible amount of emotion conveyed via the expressions. And John Noble does just an amazing job with them. And if people who Lord of the Rings, um, is Denethor, the
Yeah.
of the Steward of Gondor. He's not. He's a very different character here.
Oh yeah.
But he's my favorite character on the show. He's the reason that I stuck around for 5 years. But I think Olivia as well. There's not a bad cast member here, and some of the cast members' roles change from season to season depending. And again, and the parallel universe does
Yeah.
play a part of this. And it's a lot of bits and pieces that come together, and it's an impressive body of work. It's only
It
5 seasons.
well, I was gonna say too, and I remember watching this, and there is like I almost want to say I think it's like season three. Like season three starts off in the parallel universe, and I remember watching it and like almost being like, "Wait, did I miss something? Like, what is going
Yeah,
on?" So I mean, it throws you for some loops, and like you said, yeah, it kind of was pitched as some X Files esque
yeah,
show, but
it is
it's
not.
not really that. Um, it's something far different, and it was also something too. At the time though, you can kind of tell like it's a tough show to market because there's
Yes,
so much stuff going on. I mean, the title does fit it though, like in terms of just fringe, the kind of the insane things that happen on the show. Um, but again, if you are somebody who you are a fan of a lot of the science fiction we talked about this evening, I mean, this was right up your alley.
yeah.
Like it's
This is sci-fi. This is this
yes,
is this is real sci-fi. Got a lot of good drama in it as well. But it's sci-fi.
and it is. It's a really really good cast. Everybody that's on it. Um,
I forgot Jared Harris. I'm looking down. Jared Harris has a great part in this as well. Um, and you know him from like every movie ever made. He's Richard Harris's son, but he's in like so many. He's
Oh
in
yeah,
The
yeah, that's right. When he said, I'm like,
Expanse.
okay, I'm like trying to think of who is that. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, he's super good on this.
and he's a bad guy in this, and
He is.
yeah, the bad guys in this, and you go through again. There are a lot of different antagonists for a lot of different reasons in this,
There,
and
there are.
man, there are some dark characters at work in this world.
Yeah, but no, it's really really good, and it is one of those shows where you do kind of almost have to watch it twice because there's so much stuff that
Yeah,
goes on in this. I
yeah,
mean, like,
missing an episode was a real problem because
yeah,
you're coming in and an episode later, you're like,
this
oh,
this
what?
now this did come out during the time of DVR though too, so that was always very helpful to watch this. Having that on my cable box at the time, but yeah, it was one of those two where like it was very much. It only ran for 5 seasons, and you could tell like they knew that they had limited time. But then I want to say too, like after this ended, wasn't there a show called Alcatraz that had John
Yes,
Noble on it, and like they tried to
and
market it as like it's just like Fringe, but it's on
it was a
Alcatraz.
it was an interesting show, and it was weird. It never, I think it got canceled though, so you never really got an ending with
Oh
it.
yeah, it only
Um,
lasted I think
it
a
just like
season.
it just like because I was watching it and I was enjoying it, but then it was just like gone. I'm like, so that's it.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Was it? I'm trying to look to see. I'm like, I swear it was. He was on a show called Alcatraz, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
I
that was
remember
somebody else.
Alcatraz. I don't remember much about it other than it was a bizarre show. Yes, Alcatraz was there, but it wasn't like a drama about prison life in Alcatraz. It was a weird show.
Yeah, yeah, no, it was a sci-fi film or sci-fi show. There we are. Um, oh, it was Sam Neill, not John Noble.
Oh, okay. Like I said, y'all have to forgive me on this. I just don't remember much about it other than the
Yeah,
prison, and it was weird.
yeah, yeah. Or no, that's what it was. It was Lost. It was because it was by J.J. Abrams.
Yes, this is back, and I have to, for people who are cringing now when they hear J.J. Abrams, he used to do good work. Fringe, I think,
Yeah,
is probably the most satisfying thing that he did, because unlike Lost, which really fumbled, Fringe didn't. Fringe was
yeah.
good all the way through, and Lost started off good and ended very, very
Well,
bad.
I was gonna say. I mean, Fringe was essentially done by Abrams and Kurtzman.
Yep. Yeah, yeah,
And
names that are like villains in the modern era, but back then they did good stuff.
well, the
And
lens
that's because
flares
they
here
didn't
should
have
should be a
complete
giveaway
control.
for Abrams.
The lens flare. That's yes. Lots of lens flare.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this is back before they had complete control, and that's where things go wrong with a lot of good directors and creators, even George Lucas.
Oh yeah,
Although to a lesser degree, but those guys, like JJ back here, he was very good. Um, but between Star Trek and Star Wars, I mean, I don't think he has anything in the works anymore. Kurtzman
no,
Kurtzman is a destroyer of worlds. But back here in the early 2000s, you come with me, folks. They were still good guys. They just lived long enough to become villains.
yeah, yeah. No, I totally get what you mean. But yeah, it is though, man. It's been such a long time since I've watched this. I'm trying to remember certain things about it. And then like the Observer, I remember there's an episode where you actually get to see him observing, and he goes into the diner and he gets a
Yes,
glass
the
of
sandwich.
water, but he asks for like just a plain like pastrami sandwich, and he covers it in black pepper from the shaker, and he also asks for a side of jalapeno peppers,
You know,
and he
it's like
just
a very specific number of jalapenos. You know, it's like and 12 jalapenos.
yeah, that.
Some weird. It's like a very specific
But
number.
it's like one of those things. It's like they can like eat like really, like you'd such say spicy. I mean, black pepper isn't really spicy, but just something that's got like a kick to it.
It's because they have very muted. Their
Taste
senses
buds.
are muted. So
Yeah, yeah, and like even too, like he eats the sandwich really weird. It's funny, um, but it's also funny too. This show made me buy a car as well because this show I forget what season, but it featured when they redesigned the Ford Focus and made it look like a sports car in the hatchback. And I was like, oh, that's so cool looking. And I ended up getting a Ford Focus
oh
because
my
of this
god,
show. I'm not kidding.
that's funny.
I did. I did. I got a Ford Focus because of this. And I'll never buy another Ford again. That's all I have to say.
Product placement.
Um, I'll never buy one again. So yeah, no, this was a fun pick. I liked everything that you chose. I mean, one because either I had seen it and they're really great, or even two, just some of it like Rescue Me. I'd never seen it before, so I'm always interested to hear about shows that I don't know anything about, but clearly, right, somebody's a fan of it. Somebody's is passionate, is going to have some passionate, discussion about it, and it opens me to something new because there's such limited good entertainment these days.
These days, yes, you're going to have to probably go back to the past to
Yeah.
find something
Well,
that's
that's
good.
kind of why I kind of did this is, kind of a way to show people who, just maybe aren't familiar with something different. And hopefully they find something new that they like, even though it might be an old product, but it's new for them and they'll see
Right.
how
And
great
these
it
are
is.
and
So,
these series work in the modern era. They don't come off as clunky or weird. They
now,
feel like they fit. They work just fine.
yeah. Now, I mean, there are some shows that I can think of too where I'm like, I loved it when it came on, but like it's very dated. You might laugh at me on this one. By the way, you can watch Fringe on Hulu. Unfortunately, it's not on Tubi. It's not on a free service. But no, one show I loved watching it when it was out, but I've tried to rewatch it, and it's so dated for its time. It's just it's not it's just not as good as what it was when it came out initially. But it's Veronica Mars, which
I've
was
never
a
seen it.
so it was Kristen Bell. It was like her first big role, and her dad was a private detective, but she wanted to be like her dad. And so while she was in high school, there was all these things going on, and she solved, mysteries, crimes, things like that. And um, it took place in Southern California, but like the community she was in, there was all this corruption, things like that.
Ah,
Um, and it was kind of like it was a like teenage series. I mean, at the time, I was in my early 20s when I watched it. But and I watched it too at the time when this was somebody that I loved watching his stuff, but who was a big fan of it, and it's the reason why I was like, well, I'm going to check this out because he praised it so heavily. But it was Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith was like, I love
oh,
Veronica Mars, and it was like Kevin Smith likes Veronica Mars because it was like a CW show. It was so odd,
okay.
and it was one of those things. It's like I watched it, and I was like, man, this is a good show, but it is. It's such a
Didn't hang on.
well, it went on for like 3 seasons. It was one of those ones that just
No,
it
no, but
did.
I mean, as far as watchability goes,
Yeah, I mean, it's not it. Like I said, the setting and what's going on and everything. Like it's a very much a product of its time.
right?
Where it's not just something like it's as enjoyable. Like you're very much stuck in that time setting when you watch it. It's I guess a good way you kind of put it, like I'm not trying to be like insulting of the series, but it's like very immature now. You know,
Okay. No, no, I get it.
is yeah the way I would describe it. It's not like I couldn't like not watch it. It's a weird watch now watching it again. But I forgot where I was going with that, but just yeah, things that don't always age well, I guess. Where like a lot of these though, like you can go back and rewatch them though. You know, like you can go back and watch this show. I think it still holds up today. And like I'm even shocked that
Mhm.
I mean, you look at the photo, like I mean, that does not look like a show that's nearly 20 years old.
No, that could be right now.
Right now, yeah, and it
I mean, because you're
that
dealing with such weird stuff in the show, the
yeah,
weird science and stuff.
but
That's what helps it as well.
it
You're not
was
dealing with ideas that are trapped in this time period.
well, not only that, but like it was shot very cinematic too. Like it's
Yes. Oh yeah.
shot
Yes.
very
Yes.
well. This was definitely something that was taking full advantage of like high def television at the time because that was actually a new thing that not everybody quite had it when this show came out. You know, uh, high def TV. Um, but yeah, no, shot very well. I mean, even too like Justified's another one where I feel like you can
Oh
watch
yeah.
Justified, and that's going to be a good show, kind of no matter what. Um, I can't speak for Rescue Me because I haven't seen it, but um,
FX did some
yeah,
good work
yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah.
They really did.
And but just yeah, no, no, no. I mean, these just are all good choices, though. I love it. And yeah, I mean, hopefully somebody watches this and they haven't seen any of these. They do. They check them out, and you know, again, they're turned on to something good, something different, and new for them. So yeah, that's kind of the whole point of my show here. So. To share stuff with folks. But I know you had two honorable mentions, but we are running a bit over
And that's I got
what I
long
do.
winded. I got long
I know,
winded. We
and
talked
that's
about Wrath of
okay.
Khan too long.
That's okay. I mean, I put them together because I was like, well, we'll see how it goes. We did the toy segment too. That probably ate up some time, but we will have to call it a night. But I really quick though, I will just let you share with what you had for honorable mention. You had Star Trek, the original series.
Yep.
So
Yep.
as we've been talking, this is not a shocker. I have this on streaming. I bought it for, or not streaming, but on digital. I bought it for like $20,
Oh.
and I've tried to go get into it, and I haven't. I'm like, I want to be into Star Trek, but I have such a tough time digging into it.
Oh, I own it on disc as well, and it's
Yeah,
actually the enhanced, so it's got the better visuals
yeah,
of the planets and everything, which is nice. It doesn't change the episodes; it just makes the episodes look better.
sure,
Um, and like I said, I love the original series, but like season 3 is a clunker. You get a couple
okay,
good episodes in season 3, but it doesn't, and that's why I picked what I picked. Like I said, good beginning
sure.
to end, and that's important to me.
Yeah, no, no, I get it. Well, I was gonna say the Next Generation. That's another one I've tried to dig into, and that like first episode,
Season 1 is rough.
I'm like,
Uh,
I'm like,
Season 2, it
there's
really finds its legs. Season 1, the episode of
okay,
Encounter at Farpoint is it's a turd. It's
yeah.
a rough one to start with, man.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, maybe that. I mean, I know there's a lot of shows like that where like their first season is like a rough one, but like once it finds its legs and you know the second season, right? It's great to watch. But yeah, I've tried. Well, maybe that's what I'll have to do is just start off with season two
Jump
and go from there. And maybe I'll finally get into it. And then your other pick that you had was
in.
Doctor
Oh,
Who,
poor
which
Doctor Who.
this is I think probably the third time since doing my interview stream show somebody has picked this. So clearly, yeah, this is something that people love and. Definitely these doctors, not some of the
Yes,
more
it
recent
all ended
doctors.
with Capaldi, and then
Yeah,
that was it.
and I've even kind of heard from people who have said that the Peter Capaldi series too kind of
It
was the
suffered from
sign of
some.
some
Yeah, it was
things to,
coming.
of things to come too.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I can't defend all of it.
Yeah, yeah, but that's another one too. I've seen bits and pieces, but I've never watched it. Not like out of not having any interest, other than just going. There's so much here. It's like I don't know
I would start
necessarily.
with 2005. I mean, I like
I
parts of the classic era, Tom Baker specifically.
Yeah,
But starting in 2005 forward,
Christopher
you can pick up
Eccleston.
there
Yeah,
just fine. Yeah.
I have heard that from a lot of people have said like just watch it from there and
And
You
that's
know,
what I own. I own 2005 through Capaldi's run, and that's
yeah.
all. And I own some classic stuff as well, but I own
But I have
all of the modern era through Capaldi.
I was gonna say, and I have heard though for people have said though, but they're like, Tom Baker's really really good. So
Tom Baker's really, yeah, he's my favorite of the classic era doctors.
yeah, I have heard that. But no, thank you so much for coming on tonight and sharing all this with me and the audience. So much fun. I loved hearing you just could hear the passion in your voice with everything. It was great. It's always a lot of fun to hear that. Especially again too, like I bring up just in this day and age, we have such little good new content. So
Yep, that's
you
true.
know, it's nice to hear what other people like and love too. I like
Yeah,
hearing them share
it's
that. So it's always just
easy to be passionate about things
yeah,
that are good.
it is, and like I said, it's my hope that somebody does watch this and they're like, oh, I've never seen that. Let me go check it out, and then go. You're right. That was awesome. I love it. So, well, before we call tonight, I know you said you stream on Thursday night, so I'm sure you've got a stream tomorrow night. You want to share what you've got going on your show?
Yeah, tomorrow night, Thursday, 5 Pacific Standard. We're going to be doing Reign of Fire from 2002 with Matthew McConaughey and Christian Bale. I think it's an underrated movie. It's a fun movie. Dragons. Everybody likes dragons.
Yeah.
And then the following week, we're going to be doing the 1983 movie, The Keep, which is not something everybody remembers. Um,
No, who's in the keep?
it's God damn my brain. It's He's one of those 70s actors. Scott
Here.
Glenn. Scott Glenn.
Scott.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
He's not just a 70s actor. He's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyway, but he's the primary protagonist in it, and and it's about old monsters and Nazis and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Monsters and Nazis. Oh my
I know,
gosh.
all the same movie. It's a weird one, but it's there's actually quite a few cats.
Okay.
Like Ian McKellen's in it. There's a lot of
Yeah.
people in this movie.
Um,
Um,
Ian
but
McKellen,
that's the following week. Next
Gabriel.
week is
Let's
Gabriel
see.
Byrne. There's a lot of
Yeah.
it's an interesting cast. People you don't even you're going to see them and go, oh, well, yeah, I didn't know
Yeah.
he was in this.
I,
And
I
then
I'm not gonna dare try to pronounce his last name, but Jurgen Por
I can't pronounce it
Chow
either.
now.
You've seen him
Yeah.
in a lot of
Oh
things now.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. You've seen him. And oh look, there's a guy who played a Nazi in Indiana Jones playing a Nazi in this movie.
he's, he's
So there
found
you
his
go.
niche.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Way to be typecast.
No.
Do you think
It's just like,
I wonder if he said he did not see that coming in his career.
Excellent.
Well, cool. Yeah, go check those out. Always a lot of fun. You've got great panels when you do those, and great people on there. And again, too, all of your links are in the description of this to go find you. So I got your YouTube, your X, and your Instagram, if that was okay.
I'm everywhere, baby.
You're everywhere. And yeah, check out Roman. Give him a follow. Give him a like. And then I don't know who I'm going to have on for next week. I'm still trying to figure that out. So stay tuned. I'll try to post it as soon as I can. Sometimes I know, sometimes I don't. But February and then even March is going to be probably a little hit or miss for me with just stuff going on. But again, thank you, Roman, for coming on. Had a
Thank you.
great time. And with that, we will say good night and goodbye to everybody. Take care.